This doesn't make sense. We lived on an acre lot, and
well,
my
our
dad
backyard
legit,
was an acre.
Yeah, our dad just turned it into like this farm. And so before school, we'd wake up at like 5:30 every morning to feed all the animals.
So I never even imagined that I would be a WWE superstar, or I would have done anything great, or even have done anything like outside of the state of Arizona. Like, so where I'm at today is just, it's mind-blowing.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the School of Greatness podcast. We have the legendary Bella twins in the house, Nikki and Brie. Bella, thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
We're excited.
Yeah. I'm excited to be in your presence. I'm already feeling the twin vibe, the twin
Yes.
magic. It's like it's all coming together. So welcome to the podcast and congrats on everything. You guys have been blowing up. You've been making a big impact. You guys have your own brand. You've been WWE Superstars for years now. You've got your businesses. You've got your YouTube channel. Is there anything you guys haven't done yet?
Take over the world. That's next,
that's on the
right?
list.
Yeah, fully take
Be
it
on the
over.
cover of Forbes.
That's yeah.
I don't think they've ever had twins on Forbes, have they?
No.
Ooh, I don't know.
Twin
Twin
moms.
superstars.
Moms?
Well, I mean, as in.
Are
like,
you
it's
telling
in
us
my
something?
future.
Are you pregnant?
Are you?
No.
Breaking news
Look
here.
No, we're talking about future stuff.
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So when you're a mom, then you guys can do that, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to be a mom?
I do want to be a mom.
You do. Why?
Well, I think just, growing up, you always have that, like perception of, oh, I'm a woman and I'm going to grow up and be a wife and be a mother. But I was also very nurturing to the girl to my right. And
Every time I try to throw a keg party, she shut it down.
I did.
Really? You must be the younger sister.
Oh,
Yeah,
she
By
is.
16 minutes.
Yes.
Right?
Look at you. You're
I know.
good.
So she would let me have it for 16 minutes, and then she'd be like, "That's it."
Right.
No more.
Right.
But the minute Brie had her baby girl Birdie, it's when I really felt that unconditional love. And I'm not even her mother, but I kind of feel like I am. But I just have this love for this little girl that's insane. And so that made it very strong of me wanting to be a
Made
mom.
you want. And it's 11 months now?
11 months.
11 months. So that's
She'll
when
be
you
11 months
said,
next
that's when you said, like, I want this more.
Yes. And the fact that us women get to experience the miracle life, I think, is just incredible.
Right. Well, you went on a journey with me big time. Through my pregnancy, she was in labor room with me. And
Really?
Here we
Which
go.
that was a great form of birth control, by the way. Being in labor with
To
her,
watch
I was
the
like, I
screaming,
think I'm
you're like-
good. The stuff I saw, I was like, why did I take the leg? Don't ever take the leg.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, Brie.
How long were you labor for?
Almost 22 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And so I started off with a natural birth, but I was 10 days late and I had to get induced. My placenta started to deteriorate on one side. And so when I was getting induced, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this naturally. And they were all like, usually women don't do like getting induced naturally. And I was like, yeah, I can do it. And after 9 hours, I was like, you got to be kidding me. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. I mean, you're
And
a
I wasn't-
superstar, but
Yeah.
birth is a whole other thing.
Well, and let me tell you
gosh.
something. Like, I have all these moms come up to me, and they're just like, "That match was incredible. The way you jumped off those ropes, the way you went through the ropes, all these different things." Now I'm gonna be like, "No. You went through labor. Like,
Right.
that's the biggest match I've ever had in my life. Was
Really?
literally giving birth to Birdie.
Wow.
It was pretty incredible. But actually, something funny, which I don't think anyone knows, is towards the end, her and Brian,
pointing at me, so I'm like, great.
when I was pushing, so I pushed for 3 hours. Brian
was
was
three hours.
here.
Oh
I
my
was
gosh.
exhausted.
Brian
I'm
was
like,
right
You're
here,
saying
and the
either-
pole was here.
Yeah.
They were yelling so loud, like
Not yet. We were
"One!"
chanting.
Or
You,
chanting.
No
you
way.
were an athlete,
Of
so
course.
we were like 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, because we felt like if we
course.
did
They
that,
were
like
so
Birdie's
close to
gonna
my
get
face.
excited.
And I
felt
didn't
so
want to be
bad.
mean and like say, "Can you guys like not scream?" Because I was kind of like, it was cute. They were
We
having
ended
their
up doing it for like an hour straight,
Oh
but
my
then
gosh.
Brian and I laughed later about it because we both go, "Why did we start doing that?" It
just
wasn't like we
screaming.
planned it. I think we were just
was a
so
football
amped up
game.
because I was like, "Birdie, I've been in labor with you for like 20 hours at
You
this
need
point.
it for yourself,
Let's
too.
do
Yeah.
this!"
Let's get it out.
Like, yeah.
Amazing.
Which made us like more exhausted. Brian and I were so drained. I was like, oh
Just
my
as drained.
God.
Yeah, exactly.
I like when I see photos of myself, I'm like, I look like I went through labor.
Right.
It was crazy. My hair was a mess. My eyes were so tired. I'm holding Birdie like, Like, I can't believe.
Amazing.
Oh.
Wow. It's inspiring. It's inspiring.
Yeah, it is.
Now, did you guys imagine when you were kids growing up, did you guys have dreams like this? Like you wanted to be a mom yourself and you wanted to be superstars in WWE? Was this part of the dream? Because I know you guys played soccer.
Yeah.
One of you played soccer? Or
We both
We
did.
both did.
You know what was crazy is like I always try to go back and think about what were my dreams as a kid, because really nothing ever stood out to me. Like I remember, I think like all kids, I wanted to be a veterinarian so I could help animals, and I think that was like.
I don't know if that's all kids. I think
Right?
it's
Yeah.
like,
They were like either like police
That wasn't
officer,
me.
firefighter, or
Right.
veterinarian, like.
But
But
I was like, can I be Vivian Lee from Gone with the Wind?
Actually, yeah, Nicole wanted to be in Gone with the Wind, but it's crazy because we played competitive soccer and we we're traveling, you know, to like California a lot, New Mexico, Utah.
with select team,
Washington,
right?
DC.
Select team?
Yes.
Yeah.
But like, if you would have told me when I was a kid, like I would be able to see New York City, I would have thought you were crazy. Let alone see like Paris and Italy. And then if you would have told me that you're going to get paid to go wrestle in all these different countries around the world, I would have said, yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
So I never even imagined that I would be a WWE superstar, or I would have done anything great, or even have done anything like outside of the state of Arizona. Like,
Right.
so where I'm at today is just, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing.
And mine was, it's funny because I was the biggest tomboy. Like, I mean, I was the
Really?
girl that would wear like Umbros to her knees and the soccer shoes. Like, I would like
Arm
big
wrestle all the
shirts.
guys at
Yeah.
No way.
lunch.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would have
Be
lose already.
careful.
I'm like,
She would challenge them all.
I would. They'd all go in a long line, and I'd literally go
Be
one,
like, there's
two.
my
Wow.
sister.
Yeah, the only one I couldn't beat, and you might be familiar with him, is Lyle Sedline. He ended up playing for the Cardinals.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, so he was always the one boy I couldn't beat in 6th grade. But I'm like, can't I be a pro football player? So okay, that's fine. But what's funny is I was such a tomboy, but then if you were to go back home into my room, I would like staple, because I always had a dream that like I would love to touch Chanel, like their products or whatever. So I was at a garage sale one time, and this woman, like, she had her products in like a bag and she was selling it. I was like, oh, can I have that bag? Not like the carrier bag for products. And she's like, sure, 25 cents. I'm like, okay. And like, so I had that stapled on my wall, and Marilyn Monroe posters,
Wow.
and like loved Gone
Yeah,
with
you
the
did.
Wind and like all the classics. But I was this big tomboy. And then I would actually watch the E! Channel all the time, and it was fashion when they'd only do like fashion shows. And so I told Brie, I'm like, you know, I think I want to be a supermodel. Okay, so here's
In
this
6th grade or what?
athlete, yeah, that was nowhere near being a supermodel. I mean, Brie's like, oh, that's sweet.
I was like, you can do it. No?
And it's not like I ever like tried for it, but I always thought like, gosh, I just loved how they walked down the like
Yeah.
catwalk. I thought that was so
Well, and it was
strong.
big names like you saw Cindy Crawford and Claudia
Naomi,
Schiffer.
yeah,
all
Naomi
them.
Campbell. Like, I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and I loved fashion.
Yeah.
But it was weird because then I was happy to put on my Umbros and my soccer shirt, and that's like how I left my room.
But it's crazy because when you look at the full circle where we're at today,
Yeah.
my sister and I too, like in middle school, my parents' boxing was really big, so they'd have these big parties. And we'd say when there's a halftime, we would like to dance to the Spice Girls for everyone. And my parents were like, are you sure? And we're like, yes, we have a performance. I still can't believe we do it. So we dress up. I was always Posh Spice and Nicole was Sporty Spice.
Yeah.
And we would lip sync to the Spice Girls. But then it was like we had such this natural ability to play sports.
Right.
So my parents saw both the entertainment. Nicole and I loved to entertain. And when we went to high school and they're like, yeah, there's a drama class. Nicole and I, oh, a drama class? We're like, this is going to be so much fun. And I think that's why when...
Remember Midsummer's Night Dream? We're like, oh, we would love to be
yeah.
that. And then when we found out, like, there had to be rehearsals for it, we're like, but that's when we have soccer. And my parents were like, no, you can't
Yeah.
do it. Soccer first.
Yeah, but it's crazy because then when WWE came along, it was like finally we connected to something that had both the athletics and the entertainment. And Nicole and I didn't grow up on WWE. Just in our house, like it was
Wasn't your thing.
No,
Yeah.
and my parents like literally it was soccer practice or we were out feeding all the horses we had. We had a pig, we had 2 goats.
Wow.
Or
Like-
Sugar Ray.
Oh
or
yeah,
cow.
we had 2 cows. Like
Wow.
We had a cow when it was
In
2 days
Scottsdale?
old.
Yeah. You
You I
had,
was
like-
always like, this doesn't make sense. We lived on an acre lot, and
Well,
my
our
dad
backyard was
legit,
an acre.
Yeah, our dad just turned it into like this farm. And so before school, we'd wake up at like 5:30 every morning to feed all the animals. And
Wow.
we had a calf. It was 2 days old. And so Brie and I were like, it's mom. So we'd have to
bottle
take turns
feeder.
every morning.
2 big bottles like this.
Like even bigger than that. So imagine putting all like the powder. It'd be really more. Be so tired, shaking up the
big
bottle.
bottle and
Wow.
get
You
all
have
of
to
your
like grab
school
its
clothes.
head and.
No
But
way.
then he was like a dog test, so he would follow us around even when he became a big cow
No
and he had
way.
some
But
horns.
T-Bone and Maple too.
He would lay. Remember, we'd like lay on his
Yeah.
stomach. It was the cutest.
So
thing.
that was like.
Do you have photos of this?
Oh
We
yeah.
do.
I gotta see these.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
I mean, for show and tell, I like came to school for my show and tell. I taught everyone how to saddle up a horse.
No,
Yeah.
you brought the
Yeah.
horse. Or you brought the saddle.
No, I brought all these pictures and I brought the saddle and like I
Ah.
explained like everything you do but that was like our growing up. Like TV just didn't exist in our household.
We'd ride the horses in the alleys.
Oh, yeah,
and we
play
get in
ditch
trouble
on.
where the schools were at, and they're like, "You can't ride your horses around here." And we're like, "Why?"
Yeah.
we thought it was so
we would
fun.
build forts. Like it was, it's crazy how we actually like grew up because you look at Nicole and I now and people are like, oh, these are like city girls, you know? And it's like, well, I mean.
Country girls at heart.
Yeah. Like, but you know, it's just funny because we never saw our lives like bigger than what our backyard was with the farm animals. Like,
Yeah.
How did you get beyond that then, mentally? How did you start to think bigger?
you know, it's weird because I kind of felt like it's when we moved to San Diego after high school.
You moved for college? Is that what
Yeah,
it was for?
and
Yeah, we wanted, and I think Brie and I went through so much, like our senior, I would say sophomore through senior years when we just started, like, parents got divorced, and then there was certain things that started happening to us, and I think we were craving a fresh start. So it was like, we literally moved a week after graduation.
You're
My
like,
mom
"Get me
was
outta
like,
here."
that's it?
Yeah.
And we're like, bye, we're out of here.
Wow.
And I think we just, at that point, didn't want to look back.
Yeah, our house, like, it was just like our parents' divorce. It brought just like a really unhappy home. It was unhappy
Yeah.
before, then it was just a little chaos
Toxic,
after.
huh?
Very toxic. And then it was like my high school sweetheart passed away
Oh
in
my
my senior
gosh.
year. Yeah, and it was just like when we thought things couldn't get worse, they kept getting worse. And her and I thought, like, okay, we could stay here and really dwell about all this. Or her and I were like, let's just get our shit and go. And that's what we did. And we actually had zero game plan at first, except like, well, when you graduate high school, you go to college, right? And so Grossmont Community College we dormed at San Diego State, but we needed jobs. And so we became Hooter girls. And so at 18, it was like a spot where we're like, we'll make a lot of money. And alcohol was okay because what was it, beer and wine?
Beer and wine,
So you could
there
be
was
18.
no spirit.
Yeah.
Right.
And
You could serve at 18.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
and so we became Hooter girls, and it was crazy because we actually met a lot of girls who were in our situation, like kind of from broken homes and kind of looking for something. And they're actually our best friends today. It's
Wow.
incredible how like strong we are all together. But that's how we got introduced to the WWE, is because we'd show their pay-per-views. Now the best thing is no one wanted the customers because they come and sit for like almost 3 hours with chili fries and a Coke.
Watch,
And-
yeah.
Yeah, and I'd be like, oh, I know I could be making so much more money in these like 3 hours. So we'd all hang around and watch the pay-per-views because your tables were sitting there watching. And so because during the football games, it's like, that was chaos for us
Yeah.
because, you're slinging wings
Yeah,
every 10
constantly.
minutes.
Yeah.
Like where it was the
Right.
WWE pay-per-views, we
Yeah.
all sat and watched
Shut
because
up.
no one
Have a
Yeah.
conversation.
And I feel like my journey was a little different, like when it came to, so here you have these dreams like when you're young, but I guess I was always so soccer focused.
Yeah.
And so like I looked up, I mean, I thought Mia Hamm was the coolest
She was
person
the
in the
best.
world. The
The
best.
best.
And when
The
she
best.
came out with the Michael Jordan
my
commercials,
gosh.
those inspired me as a young girl when she was like, anything you can do, I can do better.
That
So
was
I would look at the
amazing.
boys like, yeah, I could be
Let's
better.
arm wrestle
than you.
everyone. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. About the letter you found in 7th grade about what you wanted to be. You just
In the
found
World
it the
Cup?
other week. No, a strong woman.
Oh, I did. So
But 'cause of
I
Mia
just
Hamm.
had to go through my storage, and I found this like letter, and Brie and I. It was one year I had to go to like these soccer camps, and it was our first time being apart. So we would write letters to each other, and I was telling her like I really want to be like a strong woman, which I was shocked that I wrote this stuff, and I loved Carla Overbeck and Mia Hamm and how these women are, and that girl. I even wrote "Girls Don't Need Men." I'm like reading this like.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, like I guess I kind of had it inside me this whole time, and I didn't even realize I had those thoughts then. But I was like, yeah, go a little
What
more.
about what I wrote?
And then Brie writes on the paper that I sent her, she wrote around everything I wrote, and she goes, sorry, I want to save papers, so
I
I'm
want to
writing
save
around.
trees, so I'm writing around. What
And
you
I never
said.
knew she was really like that when she was young. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I had to call her immediately, like, Brie, you wanted to save trees even in middle school.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Plants, animals, everything,
Right?
right?
Yeah.
Humanity.
Totally. And so I guess my dream was always focused, like, I want to be in the World Cup one day. It was always
Yeah.
being a professional soccer player. And I had that opportunity come to me. It was my senior year in high school. Yeah, the beginning of my senior year in high school, and there was an opening on the Arizona Heat Wave, and I talked to the coach, and
So the
like,
pro
you have
team?
to come, the pro team in Arizona. And I was going to play at ASU, and then I snapped my leg in half, literally like a week before I was going to sign for a
Oh
scholarship.
my gosh.
And this was like 4 weeks before her boyfriend was killed.
Oh my gosh.
So it was like we had as twins like this month of where like all our dreams like were shattered. And for me, I was just focused on soccer. And so when we had this motivation to like leave a week later, mine was just like leaving this small town. But when you only have a dream of this one thing, and all I wanted to do was be on this grand stage, but be like a competitor. And like I really loved at the young age competing hard and getting that reward. Like the reward wasn't fake. It was like you had to earn it. And when you got that trophy, you were like, this is the greatest thing ever because I worked hard for it. Like even when did I win Mutton Bustin' and beat all the boys and girls?
We were like in second grade.
We were in a rodeo riding wild lambs, and I wanted to win.
Lambs.
I remember
I
like
came in,
having
like,
that
last
feeling.
place.
She came in last, and I
was really
literally came on
scared.
first. I wouldn't even let go of this lamb, this poor lamb.
Straight
and they're
in.
like, the
You're so
clown's
young.
trying to run after me, telling me to let go, but I really wanted to win, and I wanted to be like all the boys because they made the boys and girls go together.
Yeah.
But so it's crazy how certain things you can go through that changed your dreams or the direction of your life. And so then
Right.
when we both went to San Diego, like, well, what do we do now? But we knew like what we always liked was entertainment or being in California. And then there was Hooters. And then there was Hooters.
And
How long were you at
there's
Hooters
you.
for?
And then there was
2
WWE.
years.
2 years.
Yeah.
And right after that was WWE.
No, so
That's
we
when
moved
we
to,
first
That's when
saw
you
it
found
on
out
the
about
TV.
it.
Yeah,
So
that's
that
when we
planted the
first,
seed a little bit.
It did.
Yeah.
Were you even thinking then like, oh, we could do this?
Oh, no
No.
way.
Really?
Yeah.
yeah,
You
no.
couldn't even have paid us enough to like say like, oh, by the way, in this amount of time you're going to be a professional wrestler. I would be like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
There's no way.
So you weren't even thinking about it. It wasn't even a thought. You were more thinking of what, doing the acting thing or modeling in LA?
we
or-
actually-
Well, we had thought
Yeah,
about
we-
that. I was like, okay, give school a chance. And then when I was in like school and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm wasting time. Like we have very creative minds. So I'm like, I could be doing this or I could be going here. But then the soccer coach reached out and he's like, hey, is your shin healed? Like, why don't you just walk on Grossmont? And I'm like,
Community
well,
college there, right? Yeah.
I'm like, well, maybe, should I? And I'm like, okay. And then he's like, well, you need to go run the mile and get timed. I'm like, wait, I'm not prepped for this. But I walked on the team. We went to state. I got MVP. And so I was on my way of going to
Wow.
play pro ball in Italy. I know. Crazy
You played
how
for
things
2
work.
years now with them? Or
I just did a year.
1 year?
You know, I was the oldest at that point when I got there. So we were in Grossmont. We dropped out. We went back. It was like a few year
Got
period
it.
of time.
Yeah.
But you needed 1 year and then they were like, okay, you can go pro.
Yeah.
Wow. It's pretty
And
impressive.
so that coach, he was amazing.
But
He
you didn't
was
want to
amazing.
go?
Well, I convinced her not to go
Oh.
because of wrestling, actually. But it's crazy because we both went to LA for a little bit, and then she came back to Grossmont to play soccer, and I stayed in LA, and I was dating a guy here, and all of a sudden, Diva Search came up, and it's something WWE was doing. They were on a search for like women wrestlers. And so when it came to my attention, I'm like, I know WWE just because of my Hooter days.
Watching, yeah.
And I was like, I
I do
remember
this.
those girls. And, you know, when we actually were watching it, the girls were wrestling and there was like some fun stuff going on. And I was like, kind of thinking to myself, so I was really doing my research and I'm like, oh yeah, this is like so for Nicole and I. So I called her up and I'm like, hey, we need to go to Diva Search. Like, I know you want to go play pro ball in Italy, but just come with me. If you don't like it, you can go.
Yeah.
So we went to Diva Search, and it was here in Los Angeles.
What year is this? 2000?
2006, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was 2006, right? Or 2005.
Yeah. Well, we graduated 2002. No, you're right. Yeah.
2006.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
A lot of craziness happened between that
Sure.
2002 and 2006. Back and forth, LA to San Diego, dropping out of college, going back into college.
yeah.
Then going into soccer.
Just a lot of like lost,
Dating
trying to
guys.
find ourselves.
Yeah.
For like
It's
5 years,
very
4 or 5
lost.
years,
Oh,
trying to
for
figure out
sure.
like what are we gonna do with our lives.
Totally.
Yeah. Wow.
Just having this new freedom and making good money, and
Right.
so we.
Having opportunities and the different stuff in LA and what's
Yeah.
going
Oh, yeah.
on. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the biggest thing is her and I trying to figure out what do we want to do with our lives, because we had no idea. Like people would ask all the time, like, so what do you want to be when you're older? And I'm like, I don't know, like just like living
Be
my
in my
life right
20s
now.
forever. Just kidding.
Travel. I think I
Yeah.
always would say that travel. And so when we showed up to Diva Search, though, it was way different than what we expected. And like Nicole and I made these shirts. It said "Breezy for Sheezy, Nicole for Show," and we had like torn up jeans and these like shorts to go with them.
By the way,
and-
when you say for show, it's not like for show. It's like
for show.
for sure. Like this is Nicole. Like
For
you know
sure.
it. Yeah. She says it like as if for sure. I'm
but
like
it was
faux
spelled
show.
SHO.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, but
that's
that's like-
how you say it. But how you
For sure.
say it, you make it like I'm putting myself on show. Like
Oh.
No.
You know
For
what-
sure. Like for
yeah,
sure.
like for sure, exactly.
For sure.
She says it weird, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm always like, oh my gosh, you act like I'm putting myself on a pedestal, like Nicole for show or whatever.
I don't know.
Anyways.
But
You were lost for a few years.
Yeah.
And you went there with these shirts,
and
thinking that was going
like,
to make it happen, or
yeah,
what?
I mean, to be honest, we thought we were gonna get in the ring and like really like have to go at it with people and like claim your spot. Like
Day one.
we had no idea.
Yeah.
That's what we
We were
were
like,
thinking
sure.
because we're athletes. Like
Yeah.
we're like, yeah, we're ready
Let's
for
go.
this. Like whatever, we got it. We might come out with bumps and bruises, but no big deal. But it was way different.
What was it like?
Nicole and I always say it kind of looked like just a bunch of go-go dancers, to where we actually thought we were in the wrong spot.
I
and
was
it's
so mad at her when we actually
we
first
got in the biggest
there.
fight before we even could make it in. And then it was actually hilarious because the girl who was in front of us said, I thought the same thing, and her name was Layla. And she actually won the whole thing. And she's
Wow.
like, I was supposed to go, she was a Miami cheerleader for the Heat, and they had just won. And so she kind of was like, you know, we have our parade this week, and I'm missing my parade, and
Oh,
I'm
man.
confused. Like, I kind of thought we were supposed to wrestle. So us three kind of stuck together because we all kind of had the same mentality. But they didn't want twins. Like, twins just wasn't to go through. It was kind of hard for them because it's like we have 10 contestants. What happens? Are you guys together? Are you not? So Nicole and I were kind of like bummed out. We're like, okay. But then actually KP is the one who like pulled us aside and like really, she saw something in us.
Wow.
And she like talked to us, and she was like, let us send you to Deep South, and like we really want you
That's
guys. We
Florida?
want to do something,
Yeah.
and get in the ring.
Yeah,
see
Brie
if you love
can't
it.
say
Deep-
deep
Deep
south.
Oh yeah.
South.
Oh,
No,
McDonough,
deep south like
Georgia.
McDonough, Georgia.
Sorry.
Okay.
Not Florida
I know.
yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
McDonough,
Which
Georgia.
is like more like a training ground.
Yes, it was
Let's
one
get
of
you some practice reps or figure out like
Yeah.
who you're going to be and
yeah, and
Yeah,
so
the developmental
development.
system.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So you went down there for how long?
So we went down there just for 4 days. Was it?
Yeah.
4 days. And the minute her and I got in the ring and we were just like doing some stuff, we were like, oh my gosh, yes.
Fell in love.
We fell in love so
It
much,
was
and then we were
amazing.
having fun.
It was
because
literally love at first sight.
It
Like
was
magic.
Yes.
Exactly. Literally.
Like actually, it's funny. Bill DeMont, who was the coach there at the time, he was blown away how we were like. So we came the next day to him, and we're like, so we were wondering if we could do this and this, and then we thought like maybe we could walk out with one of the guys and be like this. And he was like, what? He's like, wait a second, you've been here 1 day.
we're like, oh yeah, but we want to be. You guys are having a show tonight, right? Like we could totally do something for the show. Like it'd be so
Put us
fun.
in. Throw me in, coach.
Yeah, so all of a sudden one of like the tallest wrestlers who had a cape, like they had him like hold the cape like this, and then he opened it, and Brie and I are like,
We pop out.
oh
we
my
just-
goodness.
But her and I'll
We
never
thought it
forget,
was
we
so
went back, actually, before I say this, the funniest thing, everyone's like, well, the only restaurant in town is Hooters. And we were like, yes, we
Yeah,
know
you guys
Hooters.
want to go to dinner? Then we're like, sure.
We'll wrestle,
awesome.
and then we'll be waitresses, and
Yeah,
we'll do the same thing.
Exactly.
And so her and I would go back to our hotel room and practice moves, and like we ended up like breaking a couple things that we had to apologize for. Just like
TV.
yeah.
And then
Were you
the-
slamming each other's faces?
Well, we were like practicing stuff like that we
this
thought we
move?
could go the next day and
Yeah,
show
yeah.
off and be like, you know, like 'cause
And it, like
really
we
wanted
hit
it.
the dresser, and then the dresser like made the TV knock off,
Oh
and
my
like
gosh.
it hits the floor, and we're like, oh
Yeah.
no, what do we do? That was crazy.
Crazy, but it was awesome because at the end of the tryout, both WWE and Nicole and I, we all knew it was a perfect match.
Really? So
yeah.
after 4 days.
Yeah, but that's not like a perfect match to go to TV. Just to
Right.
like get a contract and be able to go to developmental.
Wow. So in 4 days, you had a contract with the WWE.
Yeah.
Verbal, yeah.
Verbal.
Yeah.
So start working in the developmental league
Yes.
or whatever
Right.
it's called. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and so her and I so excited to get back on the plane and tell our family like we are going to become pro wrestlers.
Superstars.
Yeah. And everyone's like mouths dropped. And her and I were in serious relationships at the time. And everyone was like, no. I think everyone said no.
Yeah.
There wasn't, maybe JJ, our brother, was like,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone said you shouldn't do it, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone, my grandfather, he was just like, look at you two. Like, you're supposed to be wives and mothers, like, not hurting yourselves. And we're like, we're not. Like, this is, like, perfect for us.
Well, and I think too, people, unless you know like wrestling or you've been to a live event, people have such a perception of wrestling in WWE. And it's funny because I always will bring different type of people to our events who have never experienced before, and every single person says the same thing, like, that was the most fun I've ever had, or that was crazy. Like, they get the most amazing experience.
Yeah.
And so I feel like because none of our family grew up as wrestling fans or watched it, they had a perception of it. So Brie and I actually got to go experience it. And we're like, no, you don't understand this. What they do is amazing, and it's so cool, and you get lost in these stories. And they just didn't understand it. And I was like, you guys just need to go to a show. Like, trust me. And so it's just that perception, which is now being in the industry for 11 years, and I still will hear people, I'm like, you don't get it. Like, you need to go to the
It's
show.
funny, I feel like I missed the boat when I was younger because I never watched wrestling growing up.
Yeah.
And so I never really got into it.
Yeah.
And so I still haven't gotten into it really and like watched it. I'll watch like
Yeah.
the highlights and I'm like, that's a pretty cool move. And I remember when, Lucha Libre came out?
Yeah.
And I went to Mexico City the year afterwards, actually, and went to a
wow.
luchador
Oh,
match.
wow.
And it was fascinating. And I told
They're like
myself,
acrobats.
it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I'm going to become a professional luchador, and I'm going to be like the only American down here in Mexico City, wrestling around the country, because I was so
The
fascinated
tallest
by it.
luchador.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But it was fascinating. And I
is.
still
It
haven't
is.
watched WWE that much, except for just a little highlights in here and there. But I can only imagine being there live.
That's
The
what you
feeling.
need to come
You
live
need to
I would
and
love
then
to.
you'll be hooked.
I would love to. I'd love
Yeah.
to come see you guys sometime.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, there's nothing in the entertainment world or even sports entertainment world that's like it, that you can go to this show and like we encourage you to get involved. So here come out like multiple people, 2 people, and there's this bad guy
Right.
and there's this good guy, and like you're either gonna like one or the other. Or they're gonna tell you some story that's gonna make you cheer, boo, or chant stuff, and then all of a sudden you realize
You're invested.
you're invested and you're
Yeah.
lost in this show, and then you like leave like that was like the best Broadway because I got to yell and scream and like
I saw athletes.
be involved.
like,
yeah, athletes in these amazing costumes and pyro and lights, and I mean that was like that hooked me big time. But then I loved the in-ring work. I think that was so fascinating of the athletic ability because I never realized that because we're entertainers. Was you don't realize how athletic everyone is.
So how long was the training for you guys then to really kind of pick up the athleticism and learn everything about it? And
Yeah, gosh, it took us, so we didn't get to TV till 14 months after we signed.
still pretty
And
fast, right?
It
Oh,
is, and we
yes.
still were learning. Actually, you learn even more when you're on the road.
Oh, I'm sure.
And almost thrown in the fire because it forces you to just instantly use your intuition and actually make things look real because you're really reacting and doing all
Yeah.
these things. But I mean, I still feel to this day I'm still learning, and it's been over a decade.
Wow.
Well, when you work in front of a live crowd, and then you have not only do you have a live crowd, but you have these millions of viewers
Live
tuning
TV.
in. Yeah,
You guys
live
have the
TV.
ultimate skill because that is so challenging to be able
Yes.
to be able to be magnetic in front of a live audience.
Right.
Yeah.
And also be able to know where's the camera and how can I connect to the audience at home.
Right.
So they're seeing my good side, or I'm not behind all the time, whatever it is. You guys are trained professionals at an extremely high level to be
Yeah.
magnetic all the time.
Oh,
That's hard to
thank
do.
you. It
Yeah.
is.
Really hard
It's
to do.
very
I agree.
challenging.
And in the beginning, it was so scary.
I can
Because
imagine.
there's not a take 2. So
because
like,
you have the 5 cameras, you have the million of viewers, it's
Yeah.
live, the live crowd, and then you have Vince McMahon watching you
Oh, yeah.
gorilla. So it's like, I mean, like a triple whammy beyond. It's like, alrighty, I can't mess up.
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the neat thing for Nicole and I is that we were the first identical twin girls to ever debut. And instantly for her and I, like, it was crazy how where we're at now, our journey really, started at WWE and the platform we were getting, like, given there. But her and I really had to put our heads together because the hardest part we had in the beginning was the creative, like, for, like, Nikki and I to go forward. It was always about being twins. But as you could see, and when you heard about us growing up, we're so different.
Yeah.
And it was hard for us to all of a sudden, at 23 years old, get now put into, we had to talk alike, dress alike.
the same, yeah, everything, right?
Everything. And so we really had to start thinking about like branding ourselves, and we were just like, okay, so I literally was just in LA, you were in San Diego, now we're back together, now we have to be Uber twins. Like, it was for you and I, it was kind of hard at first.
Oh, very difficult.
And even our weight was different. And like, we
That was
had to
So
battle.
to eat the same and like...
No, I just had to eat a lot less. This one could eat. I couldn't even eat what she ate. I was like, seriously, you stay like that, eating that? Or...
Wait a sec. Not anymore.
Oh, but...
Baby Jade makes it harder, right?
Yeah. But it was like, it was hard, really tough.
Yeah, but it was crazy because, you know, you think about our beginning years at WWE and everything we had to start teaching ourselves. Like, it almost felt like all over again, we had to teach ourselves how to be, like, so identical. But then her and I were kind of like, after a while, we just were like, we need to change this. Like, there's so much more about us than just, like, saying, like, hi, we're the Bella Twins, like, at the same time. And that was, like, hard for us until Total Divas came along. And then, like, finally everyone got to see, like, the difference of the Bella Twins.
So you start becoming your unique selves.
Yes.
Rebranding yourselves.
Yeah.
Your own identity, essentially.
Yeah, because people never knew, like, okay, Nikki loves, like, a lot of glam, like, nice things.
A lot of glam?
Well, like, you like, I mean, like, glam is in nice clothes, like, certain things, and I'm more of a tree hugger. Like, nobody knew any of that.
I like
kind
to
of
save
stuff.
trees, too.
Yeah, one Louboutin at a time.
Exactly. Gotcha.
But, and it was really neat, like, Total Divas, when it came, that Nicole and I, you know, we were so nervous to do the reality show, but taking...
When was this? When did this start, the show?
Gosh, 5 years ago.
Why were you nervous to do it?
Putting your lives out there.
Oh.
It's scary. Like,
reality show is a whole nother level.
Immediately, you just know you're going to be judged. That no matter what it is you do, people are going to love you and people are going to hate you.
Yeah.
And like,
and
you have to be okay with that.
And they're going to spin things the way they want it to be for good TV.
Right. And how the world will perceive you. Like, I don't like how she lives, or I don't like how she talks, or I don't like how she walks, or how she dresses, or I don't like how she eats her food, or I don't like how her and her sister are, or you have the opposite. I love how they are. Oh my gosh, I could relate to them. And so you just know that no matter, I could act like Mother Teresa all I want, it doesn't matter.
You could save every tree in the world.
Yes.
Like Brie, and it doesn't
and
matter.
they're like,
right?
she's so annoying. Like, she saves so many trees.
Right?
But, you know, so that was, I think, the scariest part was just the feeling of like, okay, I'm going to be judged constantly. And so
how have you guys handled that?
Oh, you know, in the beginning, it kind of rocks your world a little bit. You're just kind of like...
because social media, you could see everything.
Every tweet, everything.
Yeah, and you think to yourself, like, don't take it personal, but it's hard not to.
So
and,
hard.
like, it affects you, and you're like, you can't let this affect you. The person might have had a really bad day.
It's so hard to think that way.
But now it doesn't at all. Now it's like... we let everything roll off us, but at the end of the day, we're like, the whole world's not going to love you. It's half of it's going to hate you, half of it's going to love you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And I think everyone goes through this, and I think because of social media, and I think it's important to go through it, is you're going to go through that tough time of like, it's okay to be upset about seeing hate about you and stuff that you feel is not true. And I think I had to go through that period of time of where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm totally getting bullied online. This is crazy. And having those feelings of being so down, because then it made me be like, wait, why am I letting these people affect me? I don't even know these people, but why am I letting them affect me? Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm proud of who I am. And you know what? If these people don't like it, then bye. Like, don't, like, and then so it started to give me this shell of like I almost like to call it like my superhero cape. Of like feeling untouchable, like you can't affect me anymore. And then I feel like once you get that way, it's crazy how much better you become as a reality star or being in the spotlight because you're just not affected.
Yeah. Do you have a morning routine or ritual where you think something specific like that, or both of you, where you're constantly preparing yourself for what's to come? Because you have so many things happening, 2 shows, mom, the rest of the brands, the business, everything, all the attention that's coming your way. Do you have some type of ritual?
Gosh, my husband and I used to be so good at meditating, and we actually said we need to get back into it because since we've moved to San Diego and all that, we've been so bad. And I literally bought this book the other day to get back into meditating.
Which one?
It's, gosh.
About meditation?
Yeah, but it's this whole system of like stuff you eat. I'll think about it in a sec.
Got it.
I literally just bought it 2 days ago. But
The one that you showed me?
yeah,
Oh, I can't remember.
I know. It's gonna kill me.
It's all
It's
good.
like on the tip of my tongue. But I do believe in like meditation and breathing techniques. I think it helps take all the negativity out
Yeah.
and bring the positivity in. And one thing my husband and I also do is like, I have to remind myself of all the positives that are in my life and all the positive thoughts. And I think at times like we linger and we hold on to all the negativity and the negative things going on, that we just let the positive things go by, or we let negativity erase it all. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna let negativity win. Like, so always at night, we remind ourselves, let's think of all the positive things that happened today. And I do that when I start my day, especially having a baby around. She can't talk, but she feels my energy. And I don't want her to feel negative energy.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, every time I make my coffee in the morning, because that's the first thing
It's a ritual,
I love to do, that is, I always just thank God, what am I thankful for today? And I always try to put that in my head, and that's like one thing I always do. It's funny because I have 10 a.m. set for meditation, and it always alerts, but I'm always busy, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, meditation, that's right. Okay, meditation, thank you for just reminding me that I need, like, at least it gives me the moment.
Yeah.
And it's not a full 5 minutes or 10, but it gave me a moment where I'm grateful. And then I'm not even gonna lie, like when I see 11:11, I mean, I like to make a wish, but I always say something I'm grateful for.
That's good.
Like I've turned it into that, and so this is literally has become such a routine of mine, because I was starting to feel the same way as Brie. Like I was working so hard that it's becoming very unbalanced, and I think that's sometimes when negativity gets held on to because you're just so
Overworked, overwhelmed.
Yes.
Everyone's pulling your attention.
Yes.
Everyone wants something from you.
Big time. And I was starting to get that way, and I was like, I am spread so thin right now,
Yeah.
and this is not even healthy.
Yeah, well, the
And
biggest
so-
thing we had to realize to become more successful was saying no to more things.
That's the key.
And
It's so
it's
hard.
so
It's
hard
so
because you feel like
hard.
you're
It's the
missing
hardest
out.
We've just
thing.
learned this. Like,
Like,
Really?
I mean,
I've
the
known this
past-
for years, but I can't. I haven't been able to
know.
master it yet.
Yeah.
There's so many good
we
opportunities.
can't.
But you
It's
feel
so hard.
and you feel so much better. Like it's crazy because
And you're better at a lot of the other activities, right? Because you said no to some instead of showing up tired for a bunch.
80% for everything.
exactly. Well, and that's exactly what we finally realized, because her and I like don't want to miss an opportunity. We feel like we have enough energy to do it. But then finally I was like, we don't. And
Like,
So what do you
it's-
say no to and what do you say yes to?
So for example,
And what's the-
I'll use
what's the
this
parameter?
latest.
oh, great. Well, you like go like this, and I never know what's happening. I'm like, what's happening?
So her and I went to Paris and we filmed it, her bachelorette.
oh,
Then they
I'm
literally
proud of
wanted
that
us.
decision.
They wanted us to land and do Ninja Warrior and then go straight to Steve Harvey. But I told them I can't do Ninja
Wait, you
Warrior.
did Ninja Warrior?
No, she did.
You, oh my gosh.
But I told them no to Ninja Warrior
Dance with the
I
Stars, Ninja Warriors.
I know. Because I wanted to have time with my baby.
Yeah.
I wanted to get all my good energy back. And I wanted to have an easy travel day to Orlando to do Steve Harvey because I wanted to be refreshed. So, but she was like, I got it, like bam, bam, bam. And I was like, okay. I'm like, these are the times you should be saying no. And she's like, no. But then it's like, she was so exhausted and freezing cold. And then all of a sudden her flight, she's at the airport, her flight's supposed to take off at, midnight?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it's 3 a.m.
Oh.
Then all of a sudden she has to connect to Chicago, misses that. Next thing you know, I'm at Disney World having fun Friday morning because my sister's still in Chicago, hasn't slept, still freezing from Ninja Warrior. And we're just waiting for her.
For Steve Harvey or for?
For Steve Harvey.
Gotcha.
So we keep getting pushed to where she races off the plane. They pick her up. How they are doing her hair and makeup for us
Intense.
My
running to
hair
set.
was because I fell in the water for Ninja Warrior, and they had this crazy like French braid, so I literally was on the plane with drenched hair.
Oh
like
my
I was still
gosh.
wet.
And she was
'Cause I had a-
exhausted on 06.
Sick,
She had been
yeah.
on a
So when they took
flight.
my braid out, my hair was so whack,
man.
and they're trying to fix it. And I'm like, whatever.
Well,
I
good
like
thing
to-
I bought us mini ears.
But
And
Oh, there you go.
because we
Yeah,
were
yeah.
at Disney World. But the thing that in that moment that reminded me is she looked so stressed and exhausted, and I had a really fun time. I woke up in the morning, had a great
Yeah,
breakfast, I had a
relaxed.
coffee. The VIP people came and they go, "You want to go on some rides?" And I go, "Yeah." I
Do
went on.
it. Space Mountain?
Yeah, and I
let's
just,
go.
and I just looked at the difference between her and I and our energy levels, and I'm like, if you just said no.
But she got to do Ninja Warrior.
Exactly. This is
And that's
the
a
one
pretty
thing
cool
is,
experience, too.
I do not regret doing it, even though
Kind of
I
did in the moment.
Well,
Yes.
like
Not
before,
regret. You're
like
just so
I was
tired.
so exhausted and I was so jet lagged. But
And she was flying, by the way, can I just say, right after Steve Harvey, she was flying to by Southwest.
Oh my gosh, I was.
So it was not even like bedtime.
it was like a week, the most craziest week ever. But not only was it amazing doing Ninja Warrior, it was for the best cause ever, which I don't think.
The red
I
nose
never have
cause,
been.
yeah.
I mean, I've been educated on Red Nose Day, but I've never realized what they really do for kids. So that gave me this kick of like, oh my goodness. And then when I was doing the courses, I'll admit there were moments of I was like, what am I doing? Why am I putting my body through this in my mind? But then when I would finish a
obstacle
course,
course. Yeah,
the obstacle course, when I'd finish like a course, I'm like, I mean, I was jumping on my my ninja, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did it. I felt like I had 5 hearts, like beating so
my
fast.
gosh.
It was like the best adrenaline rush ever. And then all of a sudden I look at the next course, and I'm like, wait, what? And I'm scared of heights, so you're so high up. I couldn't believe
man.
this stuff. Like I had these are burns from Thanksgiving. I got burned so bad because I was hanging on by rope and I would not let go because I'm just so competitive.
Wow.
And
Your hands like ripped to shreds. Yeah.
But my hands were gushing.
Oh.
Because when I finally
you
fell
when
on,
she showed up, I was like,
I can't even do my nails
You
right now.
okay?
Like you could see all the marks,
gosh.
but literally because of what I fell on, all my fingernails like flipped back and like I scraped my hands so bad, and then I got in the water, and that water is freezing.
I can imagine.
And then I have to rush to a red eye, and there was just no time.
Bloody hands,
yeah.
fingernails, everything. Yeah.
Because of the weather, they had to keep postponing filming, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my flight.
just hearing
like,
it makes you want to go to sleep right now and get your energy.
But whatever.
So how do you
But
guys
that
choose
is-
though? Like when to say no to something? Because obviously
We're
you
still
could,
kind of learning.
Yeah, we still are learning.
because
and-
you could say, well, I want to say yes so I can live a life and not regret doing all these things I got to do.
Yes.
Or we're trying to do these 4 or 5 things really well.
Well, that's what we...
And if we say yes to everything else, then they're going to suffer.
Yeah.
Or my kid's not going to see me as much, or my husband's not going to see me, right? Or
Exactly. You do have to start, like, say what's, like, your first priority. And mine's always family. Like, I feel like it's the only reason why I've stayed humble and why no matter what, everything could fail. As long as I have family, I have so much, like, I win.
yeah.
But for her and I, we've had to sit down and go, because we have so many different brands and businesses, we're like, what's important? And for example, for us right now, we have amazing wine people behind Bella Radici. So for us, like, we don't have to fully put all our energy into Bella Radici.
So you have a team.
Yes.
You got systems. You got
Right.
everything. Yeah.
But Birdie Bee.
We always make sure to taste.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Like, I don't miss
Hey,
the
you'll be a part of
tasting.
that.
Yeah,
exactly.
And like we're always part of the phone calls and everything.
Of course.
But Birdie Bee, I mean, that is Nicole and our baby, and
It's
that
all
is
you
something
guys.
that we started from scratch, and that
we have
put,
a team.
This is the kids'
we have a
clothing line, right? Or is this the?
Yes.
Or the
It's
women.
named after your
Yeah.
your child, right?
Yeah. Well, we actually Birdie Bee was first. So
Oh.
Technically, Birdie is named after Birdie.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so we, but now that Nicole and I always have to put first, and so we, you know, if we have any other opportunities that come up, but it's like it kind of goes whatever we're doing with Birdie Bee, we have to say no. And we just realized, like, her and I are like, there was a couple months where we were saying yes to so much stuff, and Birdie Bee just kind of kept going down, down, and down.
Yeah.
And her and I just looked at each other and were like, what are we doing? Like, you can't just start a brand and then think it's
Hope
like,
it's gonna
okay,
sell.
we started,
Yeah.
so there you go. And her and I learned
yeah.
so much in the last 4 months about, like, really just keeping your passion with your employees. Like, her and I show up at the offices to constantly let the employees feel our passion.
Right.
And
So if
hear
you're
a
not
story
invested,
over.
why would they be invested?
Exactly.
Exactly. And I think, too, that's one thing I've realized is at the end of the day, they're employees, and this is Brie and I's passion, and this is our heart. And so if, like, we thought we were being hands-on, but you have to be so hands-on when you're passionate about something, because I think it's still hard for people to see it when it's not their, you know, their passion, and they didn't
Yeah.
come up with it.
And if you're not there every day, they're
Yeah.
like, well,
I mean, they're
Yeah.
making a paycheck. They want to go home to
They
their
probably
families at the
can't
end
wait
of
for
the day.
5
and-
o'clock, and they
Yeah.
leave, and like where I would stay in an office probably till 9 p.m. if everything was done or the vision was right or this was perfect.
Yeah.
But when it's not your passion, people don't do that, and that's probably been the best learning experience, is especially when you're hiring employees, to hire people that believe so much what you do and really
yep.
interview them and like know everything about them, because I think that's what we've lacked on. And so it's made.
You just want someone fast. You just
Yes.
want like, we need this
like,
now.
Yeah, you see a great
seem good.
resume.
Yeah, come on in.
Yeah, they can do these things.
Oh, we
but
did
then,
that in the beginning.
I've been there too.
And
I've struggled with that, yeah.
yeah, and you know,
it's tough.
Yeah,
Really
it's
tough.
really tough.
and it was funny because my mom's like, "Did you ask them to do a mock of 5 Instagram posts, a mock
Right.
of like their marketing plan, all that?" And Nicole and I were like, "No, but their interview is so good." And my mom was like, "You guys," but you know, it's a learning experience for Nicole and I, and even like, you know, when we first launched, all of a sudden like our plus sizes got pushed back to January 1st, and we were like, "Wait a second, do we not launch?" And they're like, "You guys have advertised, you've done this. Just say whatever." I'm like, "No, you don't understand. Like, this could ruin everything."
Wow.
We had no idea what to do, but it was our fault because a month before the launch, even though we thought everything was set, we didn't check up on it until like literally probably like a couple days before, because we figured, you know, like you have employees and you figure it's all good.
No.
And I regret and I don't want to ever regret. I've moved past it. We're doing well and all this, but that first week I lost so much sleep. Her and I both. We were like in bed, and I was just like, how did I let this happen? Like,
Right.
what, you know? And she was in Dancing with the Stars, so she was so busy, and I was in
You're
Washington
both busy.
State.
You're both doing
yeah.
your thing, traveling, got stuff going
Yeah,
on.
but
Right.
you
But
know,
you've invested so much of your money, your time, your energy into
yes,
this.
and I'm like, why did
Yeah,
I
and
let
you want it to last forever.
Yeah, and so it's funny, like, but it's my first time, like, being this
Yeah.
involved, and it's crazy how much I'm learning as a
Well, you probably weren't
business owner.
trained in the last
Right.
15 years or 20 years on how to do this.
right.
So you have to learn on the job,
Yes.
essentially.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I've
big
learned the
time.
hard way many times because I wasn't trained this way either. You're just like, I have this passion, this idea, I want to bring it to
Yeah.
life.
right.
But I sometimes feel like, I don't know if you feel this way, that it's sometimes good to learn the hard way,
Absolutely.
because I feel like that gives you success over time, like that long term success.
If it works from the beginning, that's not good, I think.
Right,
I think you
right.
want to struggle a little bit.
Yes.
Or at least have some adversity so you say, oh
Right.
man, that's a good lesson. I
Totally.
don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
I think we need some of that.
Totally.
I
I mean, we've
agree.
had what 2 to 3 times where we thought maybe we shut down Birdie Bee.
Really.
Yeah. Well, you know,
And-
what's funny.
You got to be
I'm
fully
saying, I don't
invested.
know.
Yeah.
You got to be fully invested.
You
yeah.
do.
Yeah, the
big
last
time.
3 years, because we hit some rock bottom points, and Nicole and I looked at each other like, how do we, like our first time, we were just kind of led the wrong way, and we put all our apples into one person, and all of a sudden their vision was way different and tried to execute it, and we were like, no, 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 no. And then all of a sudden it was like Birdie Bee went away, and we held on to it. But I was in my first trimester of pregnancy.
Well, and this was pre-launch.
Pre-launch. I was in my first trimester of pregnancy. I immediately the next day bought a ticket to Los Angeles, and I drove to all these different factories because I needed to know
And
more.
I did as
Wow.
well.
And
in
she
Really?
Newport.
Yeah.
We both on our days off.
When
To find manufacturers.
yeah, because I needed to know about materials, because that was our biggest fight. Is like we wanted premium materials.
And you didn't
not-
have the information at first. You
No,
trusted
we
someone else to
trusted-
like do that work because they'd probably done it before.
Right.
Yep. And we literally
Wow.
started at square one. So she was meeting designers. I was
Good for
meeting
you guys.
factories.
Yeah. I was like learning how to do like panty patterns and stuff. I'm
Everything.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like sitting with
They were
these people
telling me-
and they're like
yeah.
speaking Chinese to me. I'm like, okay, how do we do this? Because I didn't go to fashion school. So
Literally
I'm like,
Chinese, probably.
Yeah, seriously, I know, right?
And it was crazy too, because we had to start learning this language. Like they're like,
Yeah.
I'll send you this swatch,
Right.
the hand of this, and I was like, the hand of what? They're like, well,
Like,
that means
yeah.
the feel of it, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like pregnant and like wanted to barf at every factory. I felt so bad because I was telling
Oh.
them, I'm like, I just felt horrible, but I was like, Nicole, like we have to do this. I remember I called this factory in Northern California because they seemed so up our alley. And this guy, he was like, you're lucky I have some free time, but I picked his brain, he helped me. And then I go, can you like run our company? And he's like, excuse me. And I was like, well, we need help. And he's like, I don't do that. He's like, but you're on the right track. He goes, it takes a while. And I'll never forget. Like, and then he's like, let me just email you all this info. And I'm like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And because he probably heard it in my voice. Like, my sister and I had a dream. We were kind of strung along for a year.
Oh.
And then
Yeah,
everything
maybe
just
it's
almost
people.
disappeared. And Nicole and I were literally holding on to Birdie Bee like with such a strong grip. We're like, we're not letting this go.
Yeah.
And then we were lucky enough, like we had some really good people all of a sudden just pop up. And Nicole and I are very spiritual. And we just believe when you throw it out to the universe and you have that positive energy, like it comes to you, like
Yeah.
like a magnet. You all of a sudden get these people pop up in your lives.
Yeah. Well, we always like to say, it's like, okay, so it's always great for a book, because I feel like all the books you read, right? Everyone who's, has amazing success or is extremely happy, they had all these struggles that you read. That's why they have this great book, because you're like, look at what they overcame. So always when we have something like that, we always say, this is good for the book. So we're on the right path.
When are you going to write the book?
We're actually writing a book right now.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, it was weird.
It's like therapy, by the way.
Yeah.
I am like, am I back in therapy? Because this is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
It's a journey, and I can't believe how much you cry. It's 2019.
How much you cry? Not everyone.
Yeah, like Elise and I were crying. Like that's our ghostwriter, and I was just like, I didn't think I was gonna come into the session day and bawl my eyes out for like 3 hours.
Oh my
2019,
goodness.
you said it's coming
out.
out.
Yeah, as of now, January
nice.
2019.
Ooh, coming out soon. What was the moment that made you cry the most?
In my book?
While talking about the
my
stories.
childhood.
Really?
Oh, for sure. Especially my high school years. I think, it was funny, and we actually both were saying this, and it'll probably make me emotional right now, but definitely from 15, like my sophomore to senior year, I became a woman, and I realized everything after high school, everything I did, who I became, was because of those really hard years. And it's funny because, like, my relationship with my dad isn't the best. We've reconnected now, and I hated him so much then, but if it wasn't for how rocky and bad our relationship was, I would have never become who I am today. So
why did you hate him so much then?
He wasn't a good dad, but my parents had us, they got pregnant at 18, and my dad's a struggling addict. And so when you grow up with that, it's like you just, you hate them for ruining your family, for breaking it up. And he'll, to this day, actually I asked my dad the other day, I was like, would you write a chapter in our book? Because my dad, he'll admit everything. And he's like, I think the world would like to see like a really bad relationship between daughters and a father.
Wow.
And see where it's at now. And I told him, I think girls need that, that you can repair a relationship. And my dad and I sat
and you could learn from them.
Yeah, my dad and I sat the other day, and I was like, Dad, I don't hate you anymore. I realized, like, thank you. Like, thank you for putting me through hard times, because of that, I've become a strong, strong woman. And now I know with Birdie exactly how to, like, raise her. And so, but it took me, I'm 34. And so it's taken me that long. But when I went through all those years, it was the first time, like, I was just like, holy shit, Brie, like, those years are your golden years. Those are when you realize, like, I'm not a little teenager who needs mommy and daddy. I'm on my own, and how do I figure it out? And we both were saying that. It was emotional to talk about it.
What was the biggest lesson your dad taught you? For each of you. Go ahead.
What would you say for you?
For me is independence. Everything that happened at 15, I became so independent. And I knew that I will never depend on another human being again, that I could do this all on my own. And that's I think why we left a week later, because I knew like leaving that house that week after graduation, I could be on my own, that no matter what, I will find a way to make it work. And we did that. Like I found a way to pay for college and to pay for my books and to have fun and to pay for rent, and even when the accounts were getting low, I just always figured it out. And I feel like that was the best lesson my dad gave me, because I've taken that into my career. So anytime there was a struggle or someone told me no, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna make it a yes, I'm gonna figure it out. And so that was like the greatest gift he gave me, even though it was so hard to understand. But I feel like we wouldn't be where we're at today if we didn't have that, and have the independence too. Like it's a good feeling, like never feeling like you have to depend on someone, because the only person you could disappoint is yourself. And so, and when you disappoint yourself, well, it's tough, but then you want to do better. And so that would be the best.
And my dad had a really bad childhood, and I think as a kid, Nicole and I were always like, get over it, like who cares, like look who you have now. But I think
because he would complain about things when you were growing up, about his childhood, or about.
And so, and that he would always blame his actions for that. But I think now it's like everyone does have a story, and not everyone, no one has a perfect life growing up. I don't care who you are. There was something that happened to you that traumatized you or brought you down. And it's made me just realize that, like, sometimes when someone has a mood with you or there's an issue, it's not the issue with me. It's the issue with them and their lives and something that happened. And I think I took things too personal at a young age. And now I feel like when I've gotten into my 30s, I take nothing personal.
She was very stubborn
and
would hold grudges
hold
like
grudges
no other.
big time.
Anyone that made her upset, I'd be like, poor you.
Like,
It's like when you hold a grudge with someone else, you're drinking poison.
Exactly.
Hoping that they're going to die.
Right. Yeah. So I really,
It's still a lesson I teach myself now, because I'll take things personally every now and then, and I'll feel my throat tighten up, my chest get tight, and I'm like, why am I holding on to this when I know it's not serving anyone?
Right,
exactly.
It's just hurting me
It's actually
and my
affecting you
vision.
probably more than anyone else.
And it's hurting
100%.
my ability to live my vision.
Yeah.
You know, to my purpose is slowed down when I hold a grudge, or I'm unforgiving, or I'm resentful, or any of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
That's so true.
Because you can't live in flow if you're holding on, if you're tight.
Right.
It's true.
You're stressed.
Yeah. Like our ghostwriter and the publisher she's working with, like, they were like, how are you guys where you're at after reading, like, after they read our, like, childhood and everything that's happened to us? Because there's so
You're like, that's
many
why
stories.
we're at where we're at.
That's what I told them.
Yeah.
They're like, if you ended up being, like, drug addicts and, like, found in the streets, we probably understand after we've read this. Like, we get it. But they're like, you're not that. And I'm like, that made me stronger. And if I could teach, like, that's why our book, it was kind of, I told her, I'm like, this is really hard to put it out there, but we're like, everyone goes through stuff, and some people do take that wrong path. And if we could help one person or 5 people turn that path around and go down the right path and take the hurt and make it strength, then, I mean, for us, it's winning. And so that's what we hope to do.
Her and I were always the types in everything we did. We would never play a victim. We look at
Really?
ourselves as survivors.
Even as kids?
Oh, all the time.
That's great.
We never wanted to ever be that. And I think that's really helped us, because when you act like a victim, you're constantly losing. When you act like a survivor, you're constantly winning. And that's her and I. And that's always been our mentality in everything we've done.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
When did you start to go down your spiritual path? You said you're both pretty spiritual.
Yeah, I really found spirituality when my high school sweetheart passed. I was raised in, like, where my dad was an atheist, but my mom came from a religious family. But Nicole and I were young girls, and we always wanted to go to church, even when our parents didn't. Yeah, we were always drawn to the church, I think.
And we very much felt our grandparents. And we were very much like our moms and dads growing up.
Yeah,
and so
they
I
were
think
strong
we
Catholics.
craved that because we felt their presence.
Which grandparents?
My mom's parents.
The Mexican side of the family?
My dad's the Mexican side.
Gotcha.
They're the
Italian.
Italians.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
And so, but then I really found spirituality when Bear passed. And for me, it was like...
You're 18 at this time, 17, 18?
Yeah, I was a senior, and it was actually, it's a crazy story, because he passed, and I'll never forget, it was months later, and one of my guy friends, his mom, we were at his house swimming or something. She's like, Brie, can I talk to you? And I was like, yeah. I was like, oh gosh, we're going to check on me, see if I'm doing drugs, if I'm okay, whatever. But she was like, I was at this angel store, and this woman just started speaking about this spirit that was here and everything, and it was Bear, Brie, and, like, they brought up your name, and she goes, I know you think I'm crazy, and I was like, I do. I think you are batshit crazy. She's like, but please, this is the lady's number, can you call? And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't believe this.
Wow.
But I took the number, took the card, and I remember I was like, kept thinking about it. I kept feeling it. I was like, okay, I'll go listen. Like, what is it going to do? And I'm a senior. And so I went in there, and I just sat down. I'm like, listen, like, I'm not going to tell you anything. You want me to be here, like, and she just opened up this whole new world to me, a world I didn't really, like, connect to until then. And everything she was telling me, I was like, how did you know? And I know half the world thinks...
Is she a medium, or is she...
Yeah, well, I don't know if they like to be called mediums because they speak to angels or whatever. So, but yes. And half the world doesn't believe that. And there's another part that sees it. And but for me, it changed everything. Wow. It made me, like, look at Bear's death in a different way. It made me accept a lot of things. It made me all of a sudden just want to, like, go on a really, like, good path and look at people in a really good way, and really changed me in a good way.
Really?
And I mean, for me, spirituality, the one thing about it is all it wants to bring is positivity. And I'm like, amen to that. I'll
Yeah.
do it all day long.
Absolutely.
And it opened up my eyes, and it really helped me cope with a lot of bad things in my life.
How much did that affect you with that passing? Because I can only imagine what that would be like
Oh, it
losing
rocked
someone.
my world.
Really?
Yeah. And I think, too, as a high school girl,
That's
you plan your whole life, right, with that person.
how long were you in the relationship for?
We started dating. We were together, gosh, I mean, not long, like probably, had to be like 8 months,
Right.
10 months, but I was
But
so
you were in
in
it.
love. It was my
They
first
were
love.
You were in
so
it.
close.
Yeah, we were together every day, and I thought he was my forever.
Wow.
And so, and I'm still close with his family to this day. But he was amazing, and he was someone
He was
who
a living
had,
angel. My
he
goodness.
was.
Wow.
And
Way
he was
beyond his
extremely
time.
talented, and I think what was hard on me was like, why someone, he was 17, and he was killed by a drunk driver, but I was
Ugh.
like, why someone who had the whole world ahead of him? Like, he had colleges wanting his art, he was a musician, like, all these great things, where I had nothing. I was a girl who had no idea what she wanted to do with her life. Like, I was like, I'll follow Bear wherever he goes. That sounds good to me. And, but I thought someone had it all together. And, I mean, Starbucks had his paintings up. Like, and Starbucks was kind of new at the time and, like, hip.
Right.
And, like, we were like, whoa. Like, that was, like, huge. Starbucks wants your artwork.
Yeah.
Like, but, and so for me, it was hard to, like, understand how someone like that could be taken. And so, but, you know, I think through spirituality, I found, like, there are reasons, and we're all here for a purpose. And I just hope, like, the way, I'll never forget her, Trisha touched me, I can touch other people, and knowing, like, there's
Wow.
just positive light everywhere, and we have to look at the good in everything.
Yeah. Did you feel like you went on a journey at the same time, or have you found it at a different time for you? Or
Yeah, it was definitely around the same time. I think being identical twins when she started
Right.
to
Yeah.
get into it,
You kinda
because
feel
we
it.
shared a room too at the time, and so I saw a lot of the suffering that happened, and it was crazy because I felt like I couldn't be there for my sister as much as I wanted to, because I was in a cast from my hip to my toes, because
gosh.
I literally broke my leg a few weeks before.
So she was there for you, and then you were trying to be there for her, but you couldn't walk.
Oh, I
and you're
remember like I had army crawl off my
oh my
bed.
gosh.
Go on, because she'd be crying so hard at night, and I'm like trying to get to her, and it was such a struggle because I broke my leg really bad. It swelled up so huge that they were like, we can't even open her up. So they had to do a paper mache cast, which was like the worst thing in the world. I thought like, oh, okay, this will be easy. My leg was so broken and my toes want to be like this, and they go, so we just got to go like this to try to make the bones, because they were like this.
Oh my gosh.
I was screaming on the top of my lungs. I had never felt pain like that. And the doctor finally had to stop. He's like, I'm going to give her a heart attack. And so I was in
Holy
that
cow.
cast for 2 weeks laying in bed, waiting to get surgery, waiting for my like leg to
Stop swelling. and
Yes. Then finally I had to get a rod and 3 screws put in.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was terrible. And so, but I remember like her healing process, but there was darkness, and then there started to become light, and then she opened up to me about what she had been doing. And so then it made me want to feel that too, because I saw the change, and I felt like I loved Bear too. I saw, when I'd see them together, they were just so cute and happy, and like Bear always made me feel good. And especially because we were just, having such a tough time anyways in our childhood, Bear was just like this light, this angel that came into our family's world, how my brother felt about him, how our mom felt about him. It was this 8 months of just light, and then he was gone. But so when she started to get into all that, it made me want to experience it too. And then I remember when she took me to the store, and the lady said a memory to me that I knew was only that I knew of Bear, and that he would only know. And I was like, looked at her like, excuse me, and then I remember looking at Brie like, how does she know that? Remember it was the thing with the...
You're like, I'm in. I'm sold.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, so let's talk. No, but it's crazy because it did start to make life so beautiful, and you still go through ups and downs.
Oh,
it's not like it
100%.
fully can change you, but once you know it's there, it's just so beautiful to know that you could just be sitting alone, and that you could just talk and know there's people listening, and there's angels watching over you and healing you. And I feel like it's fully changed us, and it's kept us strong, because I truly feel the true success is happiness. You could take everything away from me, but if I'm happy, I am fully successful. And I think when you stay that way, you don't get upset when you lose money, or you don't get the cute Chanel purse, or you don't get the big home, or you can't go on that vacation here, like whatever it is, because when you're happy, it's weird. None of that matters.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even affect you.
No.
So, and honestly, I only get that because of spirituality.
Yeah.
Like that is the only reason.
Do you guys have any regrets from your childhood?
I actually have some.
She's like, no,
This
nothing.
is like,
Regret.
well, like, so the summers, like, I think because, like, so when you don't have a lot of money or whatever, like, your parents just make you sit at home, right? And you just, you're
backyard,
like
sitting
staring,
around,
and you're like,
laying on the cows.
yeah. Just being
Riding the
lazy.
sheep.
I see what you
Right.
mean.
Like,
Yeah.
the days would feel so long. I'd
Watching
be like,
reruns
"Ugh."
of Dynasty.
Yeah, I wish I was more
So
productive
weird.
as a kid. I wish I learned piano or another language.
You speak
or
Spanish?
No.
Un poquito español.
No.
Quiero entiendo
Aren't
más.
you like close to the border?
I know,
Yeah,
right?
right?
Mexican and-
Seriously.
Oh.
But like,
Like my
that's
girlfriend.
what
My
I was-
girlfriend's Mexican. She doesn't speak
Okay,
Spanish.
So no
Yeah.
Spanglish
It's like
whatsoever.
her
That's what I
parents
thought. Like,
speak it, but they didn't
that's
teach
like
her.
our dad.
Like,
Yeah, we have two
Yeah.
siblings that
a crime.
are fluent.
Right?
It's a crime.
It
Yeah.
is. I
It
agree.
is.
your siblings are fluent?
Well, my dad has. We have 3 half siblings,
And they're fluent.
but 2 of them they don't speak
But
barely
they live
any
in
English.
Mexico.
Yeah,
And their mom only speaks Spanish.
Right,
My
right.
dad, he's
but I mean, we can't communicate to like 2 of our half siblings.
yeah.
Like I'm like, Brie,
Right.
get with that.
Right. So I guess that is like my only regret is like, I think as you get older, you cherish every day and you see how quick they go, but you
Yeah.
don't understand
And you
that when you're a
cherish
kid.
education.
Yes.
When you're older.
So now I think
I
of all
hated
those
school, but
days.
now I love it, right?
Yeah.
Isn't
I love
it crazy?
learning, but I
Me
don't
too.
like school.
Yeah.
That's why I love podcasts because I'm constantly learning. And I was like,
But
why
see, you
did I-
choose,
That's
like,
why
you
I
have to
did
think
this.
school, you're forced to learn this
Yeah.
stuff. You
Yeah.
to put on a podcast you want to hear.
Exactly. The reason I
just
created
wish, I
this,
don't know.
the reason I created this was because I felt like this was all the stuff I wanted to learn while I was in school that they never
Yeah.
taught me.
That's
So I said,
amazing.
I'm going to go find the most brilliant teachers in the world who can teach the lessons of
Yeah.
life and business and philanthropy and all these things so that I can learn everything I've always wanted to
Yeah.
learn.
Which I actually
love
think
that.
it would be
Yeah.
better for our youth to have it like that because I feel
Yeah.
like it would give some of our youth more drive. Maybe some of them not to be as big as bullies or just to be happier kids because
Yeah.
I think there's so many people who go through broken homes and don't know how to deal with it.
So many.
You know, so many. And
All,
I feel like
I think almost, not everyone, but almost everyone. I feel like when
Yeah.
50%
Yeah.
of marriages are divorced, and then another probably 50% of people who are married who have toxic relationships.
right.
Right.
There's very few that I think who can sustain this positive, happy experience for their children
Totally.
their whole lives.
Right.
I agree.
It's very rare.
I agree.
So we all face some type of trauma now. I remember just being in the other room, like playing video games with my parents, screaming and slamming doors and always yelling, and just that energy. Even if they didn't do it in front of me,
Yeah.
it's like you feel it, and you're just like, this doesn't feel
feel it.
safe.
Totally. Oh
And
my
I'm
gosh.
sure you guys witnessed a lot of stuff. I'm assuming,
Right.
or just felt that energy, that like tension all the time,
Totally.
Yes.
and it affects us.
It
You know,
does.
It affects all of us.
And that's why I always have to remind myself to never bring any bad energy if
Yeah.
like business isn't doing good into my house because I don't want Birdie to feel that. Like I always want her to feel like she's in a positive environment.
Because
like,
she'll
that
feel
feels
everything
good.
right now.
Yeah. Oh, I
Everything.
can tell. Like when I'm stressed out, I can see like all of a sudden she'll start slapping me in the face or doing something, and I'm like, she's feeling like not happiness.
When
right now.
when she accidentally tore mom's necklace off, so my mom's holding her. She accidentally tore my mom's necklace off, and my mom, still holding Birdie, comes up and goes, "Oh my gosh, Birdie just like tore my necklace off and blah blah blah." And then Birdie's staring at my mom and looking at us because all of a sudden
the
then
big
Birdie just
frown?
starts crying.
Like she could feel
I'm
that
like,
my mom was upset.
like she could tell you're upset. You're holding
Yeah.
her. Like at least like go complain somewhere
Yeah,
else.
exactly. What's the biggest lesson you guys both learned from your mom?
So my mom always taught us no regrets. My
Yeah.
mom literally said wake up every day with no regrets. And I honestly feel like that's why we took a bunch of leap of faith with everything we've done. Because her and I were like, okay, at the end of the day, so we failed. But it's better than what if. Because
Yeah.
her and I would definitely regret, like, what if we did that? Or what if like this? Or what if that? And my mom always said, like,
Yeah.
you guys don't want to live with regrets. So that was always like our little motto, no regrets, no regrets.
She also I think taught us communication at a young age.
Yeah.
And made it to where like we were so scared to go to our dad about stuff, but my mom made it very open. Even though there was a chance of getting grounded, but I remember specifically because she started that when we were younger, that I went to high school party and everyone got drunk and everyone got in a car to drive home, and I was supposed to go in that car. And I was like, you know what? That person drank. So I called my mom. I go, look, you're going to be mad at me. I went to high school party. I have had drinks, but so has the person I was supposed to drive with. Can you come pick me up? And she was like, absolutely. And so she came and got me. I got in the car. She goes, you're still grounded, but I'm like, she didn't scream.
With me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like the grounding wasn't even that bad, but it made me, like, I think of moments when people just get in the car and they would have just
because they're afraid of what their parents are going to say, or it's shameful or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So her open communication, that I know the day I have kids, I'm going to do that because I want them to call me in a heartbeat.
Me too.
When something goes wrong. I want them to depend on me and know, like, okay, mom's going to be there. Like, she might ground us, but she's not going to scream at us. She's not going to hit us. She's just going to handle it and handle it with grace.
Tough
and then,
love,
exactly. So.
Well, and that's what I feel too, is like, now that I'm a mom, is that until I kick Birdie out of the nest, like, I'm her teacher, I'm her guardian, like, I am these things, and like, that is my purpose. Like, I'm supposed to watch and see, like, you know, like the things she's going through and help. Like, I don't ever want to tell her how to be, but help guide her. And the ways that when people guide me in business, the mentors I have for everything I do, it's what I want to be for Birdie. And so when at 18, when she's out of my house, she feels ready for the world. Because it is a scary world. Like, when all of a sudden you're on your own, like, Nicole and I, when we got a utility bill, we're like, what is this?
You guys had each other.
And I think that's the plus,
it's still
too.
scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Even though we had we still have way too much fun. I get more than you now, but
That's
we've
good.
always had fun. And I think that's also been a plus, is like, even when we got into WWE, when everyone was immediately worried about TV time and all that, Brie and I were just like, we could go to Europe? We're on a 2-week Europe trip, and then like, we're in Japan, like, everyone's like, would always say like, oh, the Bellas, the tourists are blasting their music or having their wine. But we're in our 20s, and I'm like seeing, all over the world. And I'm like, so when all the girls are arguing and having their drama in the locker room and fighting over this stuff, I'll admit in the beginning, we weren't so focused on like trying to take that TV time, because I'm soaking in that I have the greatest job ever, because I'm seeing the world, and I never, and not even on my dime. Like, I'm getting paid to see the world. I'm like, this is crazy.
Money every day. It's good money.
Yeah, Brie and I would never sleep on tour. We'd be like, okay, we can only sleep 3 hours. Right. We have to wake up and go see Marie Antoinette's castle, and then we have to
otherwise, you got to pay for yourself to go back.
Right.
Yeah.
Experience it. Yeah.
It was amazing.
What has being in, you're married and you're engaged, right?
Yeah.
What has being in relationship with these inspiring, powerful men helped you in your own personal lives, but also with your careers, your brands, and your vision for your life?
You can go first.
I have to say, John, he's been my biggest inspiration and mentor. He, it's crazy because I knew about, business and where I wanted my brand to go, and I thought I knew a lot more about branding until I met him. And then he started giving me advice, which then made me want to pick his brain. And I was like, I'm so fortunate to have this amazing, successful man, but who's so brilliant and sees this WWE world so differently than everyone else. And he honestly, like, is a huge part of where I'm at today as a businesswoman, because I would just listen and I would soak in everything. And I was like, this is what my mom always meant about picking people's brains that are, your elders or the business people, because she'd always say that. And I think when you're younger, you're like, I'm not going to go bug someone, or, you always are afraid to bug. But then when I would bug John all the time, I'm like, I should have bugged more people. Like, I wish I could do it more to Vince, but I get intimidated by him, because that is a brilliant man with a brilliant brain. But I'm fortunate that my fiance is one too. Yeah. And literally, he's given me the best advice ever. Like, I think why I run so hard and I don't say no to things, John always says 24 at a time. So I really do that in my life. I look at the next, one day at a time. So I look at the next 24 hours. What do I have to get done in these 24 hours, and how am I going to make it work? And then those 24 hours are done, and I go to the next. And so as long as you see your 3 hours of sleep in there, your 4, but you have
get a
this,
snack here,
and exactly.
Get your workout in every day.
Right. Because I was like, how do I make this happen? And he taught me those things, and he also felt not only to teach me, but I think you as well, how to expand the brand, how to really know our audience, and know that you have all these different audiences, and how does your brand please all those audiences and worldwide. And I'm so grateful for him, because he's just, I mean, he's probably one of, and I'm not just saying this because of my fiance, he's probably one of the most talented people I've ever met in my life. Like all the way around.
Wow.
He amazes me. Like he literally just taught himself piano. It's been 9 months, but off of
He
off
speaks
YouTube
fluent
and
Chinese.
Fluent?
He's fluent now.
Oh my gosh.
It's unreal. Every time I see him, at one point you'll see him sitting down going through his note cards.
No, he still has stuff to learn with it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But he can go to China and get around by
Yeah.
himself and be fine. Wow.
And he's taught me, he goes, Nicole, you can do anything you want if you put enough hours into it.
Absolutely.
And I was like, I don't know, John, but then I see those big hands playing Beethoven, and I'm like, yeah, actually, I think you're right. I think I could do anything I want if I
The
put
Hulk
enough
is
hours.
playing the piano. Yeah, it's like
He will literally say, he goes, if you put 100 and blah, blah, blah hours, you can be like to here. Like, he's just so, I mean,
Wow.
he's mathematical, but how his brain works is just like unreal.
That's
and
impressive.
I get to soak it all up, and I love it. Yeah.
It is.
wow. What
I'm
about
very
you?
And
lucky.
it's so
That's
funny
great.
because
What about-
Brian's the complete opposite.
Our Eeyore.
Yeah, but what he's
Are they friends? I'm assuming.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But what he's taught me is to slow down, and I think that's one thing I love about being like around Brian is like I'm very much like Nicole and John, go go go. I need this, I'm that. Where Brian's just so like grateful to sit out and look at the trees and feel the wind, and at times I need to
That's
do
true.
that,
That's
and
right.
because then all of a sudden I'm going to be 35 in November, and all of a sudden you're like, where did it all go? So that's one thing I love about my husband is he forces me to slow down and just enjoy life and life as it is in nature. And so
Wine's
I'm
helping
grateful.
with
Napa Valley helps
that.
you.
Yeah,
and
Napa
I.
Valley's
So,
helping. Yeah, that keeps me grounded.
We sit out there, look at the hills
Yeah,
for
I'm
a
like,
while.
okay, like I
a
enjoy
glass
the
of wine.
conversation, learning about it. Okay, I'm
Teaching
getting
you
my
some
slow
wine,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I love that, and he's a big believer that you do one thing at a time. And like he does not think you fill up your plate. You're
Well, I
capable
don't think
of
he
doing.
can handle filling up
No.
his plate.
But
He's
it's
focused. one
very
at a time,
focused.
Mastery of it. Just go
Yep.
on. Yeah.
And that's how he is. And so I really learned like, okay, Brie, like you do need to put like more energy into one thing. And so that's why when we started making our list, like, okay, our wine company first, so much of nature is doing our grapes, right? So we've sold out 3 times that we put our wine out.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So now we have to
So
wait till
blessed.
July
Congrats.
when it comes out again. So we get to like breathe a little bit. So then, but Birdie Bee is a daily. And so I know like, okay,
Clothing line that's a tough business.
it is.
It's very tough.
And it's crazy, like just every
There's so
day.
many brands out there. There's so much competition.
Yeah.
There's
So much.
Well, and that's
and every
why.
influencer has their own line now. It's
Yes,
just like,
totally. And that's why, like, when we created Birdie Bee, we wanted it to be beyond apparel. Like, we truly want to build this community of women that it's a safe place, it's an empowering place, it's inspiring. That
Yeah.
it's so, like, when you do finally wear the apparel, it's because you're representing a community that you're a part of. And that's, like, what we really want. And we give back. Like, I just feel that, we do all these amazing things, but there has to be a purpose. And
Has to
like,
be.
has to be.
We
Or
build,
it's like,
we
why
build,
are you doing
yeah,
it?
we
you
build
know?
schools for kids every year,
See,
and
that
we
is
go on,
so
we go around the
amazing.
world and build schools for
I love that.
a charity called Pencil Promise that I've been
Oh,
supporting
oh
for
yeah,
like 6
I
years.
know that.
Yeah, Adam Braun's the founder, and
Yeah. What girl do we know that's a part of it?
I can't remember.
It's gonna kill me.
But see,
Yeah,
that's
but it's-
amazing. And it keeps
it
you
gives us
working
purpose.
hard.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, I believe in education myself. Like I struggled in school as a kid.
Yeah.
I was always behind. I was in the special needs classes just because I couldn't read and write from a young age. So I always felt stupid.
Yeah.
But I was excelled in sports. I was like,
Yeah.
just give me something I can do with my hands and I
Yeah.
can master it.
Yeah.
So I believe in education and just giving kids opportunities that don't even have it. I had it,
Yeah.
but a lot of kids don't have it in the world.
Yeah.
So
I love
it
that.
keeps us hungry to want to create more and give more.
Yeah.
Well, we would love to
That's
go build a
amazing.
school with you.
You should. It's
Yes,
amazing. I
we'd
brought a
love
bunch
to
of, I
go.
brought Val Chmerkovsky.
Yes.
He came on the last trip last
Oh
month.
man,
with
I
us.
just saw. Yeah, I saw that on his IG.
Yeah, he was with me
He's
for that.
so
Yeah, yeah.
sweet.
So
I
we'll
love
bring you
that.
guys out for
Yeah,
one.
we'd
That'd be
love
so
that.
cool.
Yeah, it's a blast.
That's awesome that you do
Yeah.
that.
That is. And
Education.
Those are
is
some of
so-
the kids from some of the schools right there.
Aw.
Yeah, you can see it. In Guatemala,
I love
Laos,
that.
and Ghana. Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing when you're educated how good you feel. Like my sister and I, both of our husbands like to say our charm is that our vocabulary is this big, and so we use really little words. But the more words I learn, I feel very like accomplished. I'm like, oh my gosh. And now I use it naturally in a sentence. This is great.
If I learn like 3 new words a year, that's like an accomplishment.
Yeah, honestly.
Us too. And so
I just sometimes, I think because I never use them, so I must feel silly when I say them because I'm like, it's just not me.
yeah, I feel like everyone turns and looks.
Here's the thing also.
I'm like,
Here's the thing also. It's actually been a benefit to me from having this like low vocabulary and being poor in English and vocabularies, because as a copywriter, on a website or any type of copywriting, you actually want to write at like a 3rd or 4th or 5th grade level.
Oh, really?
You actually don't want to use big words because it's
great.
confusing. You want to be like simple, straight to the point. They say you want to write like you're writing to Homer Simpson.
Oh, really?
That's what like some of the copywriters say in like the online marketing world. It's like you want to come
awesome.
from that point of view of like what could Homer Simpson like read and understand and be like, I get it, let me buy it.
Yeah.
You know, not trying to like say everyone thinks that way, but like what's a
But I
simple way?
definitely do.
What's a simple way to communicate your message? Not like use these big words and confuse people, but just it's also what you see in a lot of political campaigns. They use like simple slogans and they stick to the point, like simple stuff that everyone can understand. And that's usually what wins.
Yeah,
that's good.
Sometimes, unfortunately, but
Yeah, my husband will read some books, and I open up like the first couple pages, and like, don't even know what that says.
Exactly.
It's like too much. I'm what's
I think there's a purpose for it depending on where the context is.
Right.
But,
I agree.
I want to ask a couple final questions. I feel like I could ask you guys another hour of questions, but has there ever been a point where you guys disconnected and felt like, you know what, I'm just sick of you, or I'm sick of each other, and like maybe we should just kind of like do our own things and part our ways, or were you just really nasty towards one another? I'm sure growing up there's like little tiffs all the time, but like almost like a falling out. Has there ever been that?
I don't think we've ever had a falling out.
No. Just we had, I think, a hard, like when Marco and I were breaking up, and that like there was, I think our men, like at one point maybe it was like a little disconnect.
Yeah, like when I was with Richie and you were
Richie all the time, and I was with Marco, and we were doing our own things, and I felt like we had a disconnect because we were living in different states.
Right.
Our guys consumed us and wanted to consume us, and then I felt like when Marco and I broke up, and I became so depressed, and I felt like I had so much anger, and that kind of disconnected us. But you put up with it, but
of course. It's like, jeez.
So, but we're so grateful we've never had a falling out.
No. That's good.
Thank goodness.
Wow,
and I hear twins that have it, and we're always like, how?
It's crazy.
Wow.
But I think it's because, too, we've been through so much together that we just always like lean on each other.
Yeah.
We're more best friends than sisters.
Yeah.
That's great.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's great.
For sure.
What advice would you give to some 15 to 18-year-old girl turning into a woman who might be facing some type of experience in their, at their home, with their parents, confusion with boyfriend breakups, just confusion in general about growing up?
Yeah.
What would you say, or each of you say to that young girl becoming a woman who might be feeling overwhelmed with the world and not strong and not powerful and not confident in themselves?
Yeah.
Gosh, I mean, I feel like the thing I would tell them is that it's life, and this isn't going to be the first, or this might be the first, but it's not going to be the last, and that all these little things are what's going to make you a strong woman one day. And so you got to look at the positive side of it, which is so hard. And I'll never forget, I was watching this movie, Shop Girl, and Claire Danes' character said something like, it's better to cry now than later, because at some point you're going to cry. And that always hit home to me, because I'm like, it's so true, because when you're in a bad relationship, and when stuff's bad at home, and sometimes I think kids, especially in high school, try to hold it all in, and they don't want to talk to anyone about it, they don't want to release, but at some point you're going to break, and at some point you're going to cry, and you're going to just have this big breakdown, and instead it's like, just let it out right then and there, and look at the situation and just be like, I can move on from this. Like, I always feel like my biggest mistakes taught me the biggest life lessons,
Sure.
And
I agree, and I think I would say that was very good, Brie. But that it will get better. I feel like I needed someone to tell me that, but I knew it. And I think you hear it, and in the moment, you're like, no, it's not. The world is over.
Right.
But it always gets better, and you will look back and be like, I can't believe I wasted my time on feeling a certain way. And something that John used to tell me, because I get so sad in the beginning of a relationship when he would leave, or like when there were thoughts of us maybe breaking up because he didn't want marriage and kids then, he was like, so the sun will always rise. The sun will rise tomorrow, and it's going to rise the day after that. And that kind of hit me hard because I was like, yeah, like we act like the world's going to end, like when something goes on, but no, the sun's still going to rise tomorrow and life's going to go on. And I wish I could, like, anything that happened, like anything wrong that happens to any 15 to 18-year-old girl, I wish I could just sit around and be like, I promise you.
Yeah.
It's going to get so good, and you're going to look back and think, this is so silly. And I was in the same place. I used to think my mom was crazy when she said it to me. I'm like, you don't understand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mom, you are so right.
Get ready.
My gosh.
Get ready.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I am.
I'm going to love him forever. We're
Yeah.
so meant to be. Oh, my gosh. I even tell the girls that are younger in my locker room, because some are 10 years younger than me. I'm
Going
like,
through this, yeah.
yeah, I'm like, you're going to have so many more men, and you are going to be grateful for it. And you are going to learn something from each and every one of them. You don't want to end here, believe me. And they're like, oh, but I'm like, no, you don't want to end here. You want to experience so much. And I try to tell one of our youngest cousins that, because sometimes when they're from small towns and they want to get married young, and I'm like, there's so much of the world to experience. Go experience it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
I'm curious. Okay, I promise a few final questions.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
I'm curious what you're most proud of Brie, and what you're most proud of Nikki.
No one's ever asked us
I'll let you
that.
go first.
no one's
since
ever asked us that.
You're 16 or 17 minutes older. So
That's right.
What's the thing you are most proud of about your younger
spiritual
sister?
Goodness, there's actually a lot of things that I'm
Really?
really proud of you.
I might blush.
I know. Whatever. But I think the most proud I am of you is the mother you've become.
Thank you.
Like what you went through labor, because that was very eye-opening. I was like, my sister's freaking superwoman, and anyone who disagrees, I'm gonna like have to fight them because I was like, what she went through and how she held herself, and it is not what you see on TV. It is way worse. And I just the whole time was like, oh my sister's amazing. Like, she's the most amazing woman ever. And so I think I was definitely the most proud of you then. And what they don't tell you is, like, right after she just went through all that, she had to breastfeed. And I'm like, can she get a break? They're like, no, baby needs to eat. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm literally holding Bree's boob.
I fell asleep.
She fell asleep. So I'm like
22
holding
hours,
Bree's.
you got emergency C-section, all that.
Oh my
and
gosh.
But
I'm
it was
like,
funny because
one
her
eye
face
open.
was so swollen, and I was so worried about Birdie, but I kept having nurses come in because I go, I don't know, my sister doesn't look right. Like, I think you need to check her again. I was
All
like
this
so
fluid.
worried about her.
Yeah.
But that was definitely the most proud I've been.
Yeah.
of
Oh, thank you. Well, that's really sweet.
Yeah.
I think for
We get
me,
weird about this stuff. We're
all
not
good.
like
Hey,
we're
this
not
is a
mushy,
safe,
we're not
weird
mushy,
space.
touchy girls. Like, this is cozy, and then we're like, okay, cool.
I think for me, since my sister's been engaged, it was all really like happy and like great, but like I always knew, like deep down inside, she wanted to be a mom, and that she kind of accepted it, for John, and like
For not being a mom.
for not being a mom, and
Because he didn't want to have kids. Though.
Right.
Gotcha.
and that kind of always hurt me. And then all of a sudden I just saw her, like, over time get this, like, strength and this voice. And she just started voicing what she truly wanted in life and really stood up for that. And I even feel like it was eye-opening to John, but it blew my mind because I think as women, and especially like Nicole's a people pleaser, we care so much about everyone else that we forget about caring about ourselves. And it was really neat to see in a moment her be like, listen, this is who I am. These are the things I want. Like, and if you don't want that, then you can go. And for her to like release someone she loved so much because she knew like what she wanted for the rest of her life, I was just blown away.
So I called my wedding off a few months ago. And that's pretty much what she's talking
Wow.
about. Yeah. I think what people don't tell you about wedding planning is it makes you face the rest of your life because you're about to
Everything.
commit permanently forever. And so as I was starting to go through this process, I was like, I'm not going to be a mom. Like, when the day I say I do, like, that's it. I'm not going to be a mom. And I promised him that I would never argue about it or bring it up. And when I make those promises, I'm like, okay, that's it. I won't talk about it or discuss it. And so I started to just get this anxiety. But instead of, like, going a different way, I was like, one day I woke up and I go, I think I'm okay being by myself, and that's it. So I told him, I was like, look, I'm not going to beg you, and I get it fully. You deserve to be with someone who doesn't want to have kids, but I want it. And I need to just end this and go, try to find it. And he was just like, what? And so we went our separate ways, and
Called off the wedding. Told everyone it's not happening.
Oh, we had to fly to Napa that morning. And we literally had camera crews and our wedding planners, everyone, to set up our to make all our decisions. And I told him, like, you do not have to have the cameras film this. And he was like, no, I want it. And then it hurt me so much to see him so upset, and then because he's such a private person, and having everyone watch, that like killed me for him, because he's such an amazing man. And that's why I was like, we both deserve to be happy. What we want. And so, we both then went our separate ways. Like, he literally got on a flight to Tampa. I drove to San Francisco and was waiting for a flight for 5 hours to get back to San Diego.
Like, broke up, or like, just said, we're not doing the wedding, we'll figure it out, or broke up.
Like, broke up. Like, I was like, I'll have my stuff out in 30 days.
Whoa!
And it was so tough, but then John, which you'll actually see on Total Bells, but then he flew, and he was like, it took him like 4 or 5 days, but he was like, wait, I can't live without this girl.
Wow.
So if I have to give her these things, like, I want to. And when he came to me, that was the last thing I was expecting. Like, when he told me that he was, willing to be a dad, I was like, wait, did you say willing, not willing? Because I've heard not. I've heard that my whole relationship, I think I'm confused. And he's like, I'm willing. And I'm like, I didn't even know what to say. He started crying, and I was like, I'm sorry. I just feel numb right now. And I felt numb for a week. I even had to go to my therapist to be like, I think I'm still numb. And she's like, you definitely. And I'm like, okay.
I think you were in shock, not numb.
Right.
Well, she called it numb, but...
Therapist.
Same thing,
But same thing. I was I couldn't believe it. But
so wait, did you call the wedding back on?
Or? Oh yeah, I was like, we're gonna do this.
Oh really? Same day, same thing.
Yeah, and it's so busy because funny because now I see how she is with Birdie in business, and I told John, I'm like, you don't have to worry, we're gonna wait years. I'm like, this one makes me so exhausted watching her be a mom and work.
But just the fact that you have the willingness to do it now.
It's like, now I know.
Yes.
So it
doesn't have to be right away.
Exactly. Right. Which he kind of was like,
He's like, all right, give me.
He like started telling me like, okay, so we could try, start trying after WrestleMania, and I was like, whoa, buddy, like, no, I want years. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah.
That's
well,
great.
and I think we've accomplished a lot, but when you see those type of things, it's like, it makes me really proud of you.
Yeah. It's like, wow, Brie.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's like it's neat to like kind of see that with a sibling, and and especially Nicole, when we've done so much, because we've been in situations where we did keep quiet, where we're like, and we'd go back and be like, I just wish we would have stood up for ourselves, and but it happens because especially when you're in your 20s, you're insecure, you're nervous, you're trying to figure out where your voice is. Like, I know as becoming a mom, that mom voice is so real. Like, I will quickly tell someone, like, please don't touch Birdie, or this, like, or your hands washed.
Like, I'm like,
it's crazy, like, how, you'll get these things, but it was awesome to see my sister do that.
That's
I was so proud of her.
That's amazing.
Well, thank you.
I love it. Now, one thing, I'm all about growth. I'm all about how can we take things to the next level.
Yeah.
No matter how much we've achieved or how great we've become.
Yeah.
So what's the one piece of feedback you'd give your sister about what she could step into to become the ultimate human being that she's capable of being?
Like, you mean like anger management?
Whatever. That was like years ago.
Really?
Well, that's what it is. I'll let you start. Go ahead. What's the one thing that you think that Nikki could step into would make her even more powerful, more loving, more, influential in the world, making the world more impactful, all those things?
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Really good.
That's a good and heavy question.
Yeah. But we can handle constructive criticism.
Of course we can.
Yeah.
I know.
Like,
well, you just
Look
led
me
with
in the eye and
you just led with the thing you're most proud of. So
yeah, exactly.
it's not that she isn't doing great things.
Exactly.
I know I'm not perfect.
Right.
Okay.
We both can be pistols, but like my sister, like, can be a major pistol, and sometimes I wish
Like a machine gun?
Yeah. When a certain situation would happen, that she would just take a couple deep breaths, think about it before verbally.
Reacting.
Yes.
Oh.
Because I think
I know
sometimes
that.
she.
I know how you feel now.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and
I'm like,
it puts her, because it's not even just against me, just in any situation, and then she gets mad at herself later, like,
Yeah,
oh, why
then
did I
beat
say
yourself
that?
up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I see that constantly happen. Like, not like every week, but I mean,
Right.
More than likely, I was probably starving.
she does get angry.
Here comes the excuses.
Yeah,
now.
I know, exactly, right? Right. And so I feel like if she could control that, like, whoa. Like, I mean,
That's good. I'm like hearing
it'd
that.
be unstoppable.
There you go. What's a piece of, what's something she could work on in order to make that happen? One step. A reflection step.
I
for
would,
her.
gosh, I would say maybe.
Is it take a breath? Is it call
like
you? Is it?
Yeah,
what is it?
it's
Meditation.
like whatever. Well, not even meditation, but when you feel that situation arise, like, because I'll get it too, like the blood, you feel it. It's like
I mean,
this,
I
you
feel
get
like my
hot.
blood
Like,
goes straight to here, and
Yeah.
that's it. Like, I have no control.
Yeah, you feel like you can be a dragon.
Maybe
and
I
just
need a blood
breathe
transfusion.
fire.
I don't know.
But I feel like
Give me calm blood.
if it's counting, or if there's something in your phone, like a picture you can look at that instantly calms you down. Like if it's Birdie, like all of a sudden you're at that point and you look at Birdie and you're like, could I yell at Birdie all these things? Or would, if Birdie was sitting in this room right now, do you want Birdie to see you like that?
No, never.
And
That's actually
we always,
good.
and we always have our phones on us. And I think just maybe a picture like that.
I don't know
Or
if John would like that. Your
I know.
screensaver's not of him.
He already
Yeah.
thinks she's taken his spot.
Yeah.
too.
Maybe it's
I'm not
of
your number
you.
one.
Or maybe it's of him and Birdie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually a good one. We'll do all
Him
three.
holding
Like,
her.
yay.
Okay, that's good feedback. And what
That
about
is.
for Brie? What can make her step into even more powerful mom, powerful human being, businesswoman, sister?
she's like,
Wife.
"Really, it's there."
Yeah. How
One-
long do
one
I have?
thing,
Just
one
kidding.
thing.
I'm joking. One thing. Well, like my sister, she wants to be like the president of Birdie Bee, and you want to have this higher position and run a lot of things. And I definitely think it's things you can do, but I think you need to learn how to balance life. I think being a new mom and being an entrepreneur to 2 new companies, but also being WWE ambassador and having that craving of getting back into the ring, and also being a YouTuber and a reality star, our world never stops. And I think sometimes you get so stressed that, not that you want to give up, but you get so stressed that
I want to shut down.
you want to shut down. And I think if you can learn to have the perfect balance with all that in Birdie, you would be beyond unstoppable. And you could be a president of any company, of Birdie Bee, as well as being the owner. And you can do actually anything you wanted if you learned how to do the balance.
I agree.
What's the one step that she could take moving forward in order to create that balance?
I think it's sitting down and doing like a time schedule of like, well, being okay with having a full-time nanny would be step 1. And then putting that, which is,
She's
do
like,
you already see the
I
look?
already see the walls come up.
Yeah.
The resistance.
Yep. And just knowing like, okay, here's my time. Like, here's the 24 hours in a day. How do I break it down of my sleep, Birdie's naps, where I put all this different time into, and how can I get it all done? And I think it's with professional help. I think we all say we could do it by ourselves, but it's weird when you have someone
Yeah.
helping you.
I almost need like someone to come into my
And
house
not
and be like,
me,
hey, this
because
is how
we
the
would get in a
schedule's gonna be.
fight.
For sure.
Right.
Someone who could
Right.
feel you, like
Not one of-
spiritually,
not you.
actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
not me. You need someone very zen, who's neutral, no strings attached,
Yeah.
who comes in and gives you that balance.
Well, probably someone who's done it before.
Exactly.
You know, another
Right.
mom who's running a business, you know, who's
That's such a great idea.
already,
is
you know,
actually
like Sarah Blakely I've had on. I don't know if you know who she is. She's the founder of Spanx.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like the youngest billionaire, female billionaire in the
Genius.
country. She's got 5 kids, I think.
What?
And she's like part owner of the, you know, the basketball team, the NBA team in Atlanta. She's got her husband. She's got her, you know.
I need to talk
You
to
need to
Sarah.
talk to
Yeah, Sarah Blakely. She's
Sarah,
like
what are
a
you doing?
superwoman. Yeah, she's unbelievable. Well, I love the feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
I love what
good.
you guys created for each other. This is a question I ask everyone at the end of my podcast. So you both get to answer. It's called the 3 truths. Now imagine.
No dares, just truths.
No dares, unless you.
Just kidding.
We can go there, but 3 truths. I'll let you begin on this. So imagine it's your last day many years from now. You get to choose the day.
Yeah.
You're as old as you want to be. You could be hundreds of years old, whatever it is. But you
Yeah.
realize, you know what? It's my time. time to go.
Yeah.
You've lived everything you wanted to do. All the kids you want to have. You travel the world. You do it all.
Yeah.
Everything you imagine happens.
Yeah.
But you can't leave any of it behind. You have to take it all with you.
Oh my goodness.
So no one has access to any of the information you've put out into the world.
Yeah.
But it's your last day, and you've got a piece of paper and a pen to write down the 3 things you know to be true about your entire experience, your life.
Wow.
And this is what you would share with it, and this is the only thing people get to see. There's no more videos to watch of you, there's no more books, there's nothing.
Wow.
One piece of paper, 3 truths or 3 lessons that you've learned that you think, if this is all I could have to leave behind, that would be a powerful thing. What would you say are your 3 truths? And you're next.
Yeah, I'm like,
Goodness.
thanks first.
I would say use your voice. Women can truly do anything they want if they set their mind to it. Would this be about me? Not. It would just be
Be
what
3 lessons
like
or 3 truths that you
lessons,
share
like
with the
advice,
world.
okay.
Yeah.
like the way Gandhi does. Did.
There you go.
It does.
Use your voice.
Use your voice. Women can do anything they want that they set their heart to.
Mm-hmm.
And you can turn any no into a yes or any negative into a positive.
Powerful. Oh, yeah. Great.
Gosh, mine's gonna be way different, but I would say love and love, and more love. My second thing would say.
Did you get inspiration from somewhere?
You read my mind, Wall. And then.
Love is number 1.
Yes. My second one would be unity between animal, plant, and human is the only way this planet will flourish. And my third thing would be, it's kind of tough.
I know there's so many else.
There's so many, like you just start, I'm like thinking of like 100 of them. Probably my third thing would be the best things in life you can't take with you. So laughter, and obviously love is number 1, but family, just, pretty much, I guess in some way I'd say experiences. Like sometimes I think people get caught up in buying things when we should be spending our money on experiences. And so I guess memories. 3, like make the best memories.
Can I change one?
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking in the future.
Those are great, though. I like
those are
yeah.
amazing. I would say live in the moment. Because of technology, we just don't live in the moment anymore. We're worried about an IG story or post. So that'd be my one thing: is live in the moment, in the real moment.
Right. Before I ask the final question, where can we connect with you guys online? You got your YouTube channel, you got your TV shows, you got your empires. Where can we?
Goodness. So you could find us on Total Bellas, May 20th, and then after that on Total Divas. It's all on the E Network. You can find us on youtube.com/The Bella Twins.
The Bella Twins.
The Bella Twins. You can find me at the Nikki Bella on IG, at the Brie Bella on IG, and
Brie
then
like the cheese.
Yep. And then on Twitter, at Bella Twins. And then birdiebee.com.
Okay.
And BellaRadici.com.
Yep.
Awesome.
You can find us in a lot of places.
Amazing.
Yeah.
This is the final question. It's what is your definition of greatness? I'll let you start.
Oh,
Okay.
gosh. Definition of greatness? Greatness to me is when you're just so content in life that like no one could break you down. That's greatness.
Awesome.
That's really good. Mine's actually similar. Mine would be when you truly have that happiness. And I feel like when you have that, that's the greatest greatness you can have.
Yeah. Wow.
Is just pure happiness.
I want to acknowledge you both for a moment, Brie, for being an incredible mother and stepping into that when you have so much happening in your life and your brand and your businesses. I know it can be easy to be to stay in that mode, but you've really stepped into this other lane and you've taken it on full steam ahead. And it looks like you've become the most incredible mother based on what I'm hearing. So I want to acknowledge you for allowing yourself to follow your heart and live that life.
Thank you. It means a lot.
And also be a great sister and be there for everyone else the way you have been. It's been incredible.
Oh,
And
really touching.
Nikki, I want to acknowledge you for owning your voice, because I think most women in the world, especially in the last year, have struggled in owning their voice. And for you to stand up for what you want, knowing that it may not, you may have to lose something in order to have it, that fear is extremely scary to do for anyone.
Totally.
So for you to be able to step up and owning your voice is so inspiring to so many women in the world. So I really acknowledge you for that.
Thank you.
And I acknowledge you both for just being incredible sisters and incredible human beings and being truly authentic. I loved our interaction today. I hope I get to spend more time with you guys.
Me too.
Thank you.
But you guys are incredible. So thank you guys
and
so much.
You too.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for giving us this platform and for showcasing people, you know, who are doing great things.
Greatness in such a great way that it's like beyond money and success. Like it's, like I said, I'm enlightened.
I know.
I knew it from the beginning.
You did it yourself.
The energy of your place. We knew it.
Yeah, you're amazing. So thank you.
Thank you
for having us.
I appreciate it. Thank you, ladies, for coming on. Yeah.